Hello, everybody, and welcome. We don't have a title, so welcome to Echo Base X Wing with Carson. We are
Woo!
going to be going over the new points change. I'm still Walker Darko. With me, Kevin Lights.
I'm still the
Carson.
same person.
And now introducing Carson.
Howdy, everyone.
I do not like how. I'm going to play around with my cameras for a second. You guys can keep going.
All right. So we're gonna cover the nightmare that is today, right? The changes and the tiers
It was
from
generally a
everybody.
pretty exciting day.
Oh, I agree. It's a super exciting day. We've been waiting for this. So just like we did 6 months ago in January, we're gonna go over the points changes across all the factions because someone made this awesome spreadsheet that's gonna let us go through it, and we are gonna talk through our thoughts and opinions on it.
His name is Paul
Paul. Thank you,
Fuller,
Paul.
and total shout out to him for doing all this.
He also won a regional a few days ago, or whatever
Oh,
you call him.
where is he located out of?
Denver. We play at the same store.
Oh, okay.
That's right. Newsflash to anyone that didn't know, Radio TCX host Carson is not in TCX anymore.
That's right.
So TCX does
Had to get
officially
out of
stand.
Minnesota.
TCX does not stand for Twin Cities anymore. It is just literally Tim Carson X-wing.
Yeah. St. Paul is just a little too close to Kevin.
You know, you were really nicely locationed near the FFG Center. I will say that.
Yeah, I miss that.
That was pretty prime.
Yeah.
All right, let's go ahead and get started. Everybody's got this spreadsheet, right?
Yep.
All right, Walker, are you gonna? I'm just waiting for the rotation of the view, but we'll jump to the Empire spreadsheet first. And Carson, since you like the Empire more than I do, if you want to start just pounding through this, and go ahead.
I mean, honestly, I think this is my least favorite um, changes.
Oh,
Are within
really?
the Empire. Well, sort of. I mean, so there's some good ones. The Phantoms, obviously, getting wrecked. That's pretty good. Good for the game. I wish they just made Phantoms more expensive and not Juke.
Yeah, because Juke as a card is interesting, right?
Right. I actually kind of wish Juke went down, and the ships that abused it went up respectively. Because that was like maybe going to be interesting on Naboo's, and like it's interesting on like TIE FOs or something.
Sure.
But 7 points is way too much for that level of offensive mods.
It is, right? Because then you're competing with things like outmaneuver.
Or like munitions, right? You're competing with munitions at that point.
Yes.
For that price point. But you can't do quad phantoms in the way that they've been done before, so that seems good.
Right.
Everything else I don't really like.
All right, so we want to do this ship by ship.
We probably should.
Sure.
So let's go to the top quick and take a look at the Alpha
Looks like
class
the
Starwing.
gunboats. Yep. So the
Yeah,
only change was Fender.
Yeah, it's just Fender, which I think is good to have him go up a little bit. It's not enough to keep him out of play.
Yeah, 2 points is a pretty small change.
Yeah, the only other one I could have seen going up was the row, maybe a point. But I think the other ones are pretty good.
Yeah, nothing else changed. It looks like.
Yeah.
I just don't like slamming ships to be the best. Vendors, pretty balanced for a slamming ship being his, the best star wing you get is locked in at 4.
Well, and we saw he had a lot of success too, right?
Right. And so he has to pay the success tax, and that's fine.
Correct. Correct. But no, yeah, I think you're right. We can kind of glaze over the gunboats because they're mostly right, and you don't want to make them too good. If you make them too good, then you're going to have different problems.
We're going to run back into first edition gunboats, Alpha Strike.
Yeah.
I mean, I think leaving Vendor as he was probably would have been a mistake. I think he would have been just too popular, especially as higher initiative ships kind of got punished with this points adjustments. And so there could have been room for Vendor to be pretty abusive. So a little tax there, I think, is good.
Sure.
All
Yeah.
right, so if we just keep moving along, then Lambda untouched.
Yep.
Um,
And that's fine. I actually think the shuttle's in a good place.
yeah, you don't. I don't see
Yeah.
it getting abused. It's really just you see it. The high level game I've only seen is pretty much a pelt boat still.
Right. I mean, so we
Yeah.
did see Imperial crews overall go down, which means you'll see more lambdas. I think you'll see different lambdas, which will be cool. They'll be using different crew. The crew that have been played didn't really get brought down in points.
Yeah.
These are looking like probably one of your better Sloan carriers.
I was
Right.
about to mention
Sloan
that,
is
yep.
back.
Well, is she though? We'll see.
Well, I mean, Sloan was never bad. It's just, for a while, the Empire had better options. The Phantoms. You couldn't put Sloan on a Phantom, so don't let that slow you down, and just focus on the efficiency. There is what Imperial players did.
And chat makes a point. Shuttle's not hyperspace legal either, so it's
Right,
another
nor
opportunity.
is Sloan.
Right.
But
at this
within
point, who
extended,
knows?
I think the shuttle's been doing pretty well, and it's felt pretty fair.
Yep.
Yeah.
I think
So-
so.
Except that darn rear arc still makes me upset.
Well, so I think that helps a lot though, right? Because if you compare it to like the Upsilon shuttle, the Lambda shuttle is total garbage because it struggles so much, but at least now with the rear arc, it kind of isn't as terrible as it was.
I don't know. I feel like the Lambdas and the Upsilons have pretty comparable firepower.
Really?
Over the course of a game. So Lambda gets to shoot almost every turn.
With the rear arc, kind of, yeah.
Yeah. And they have a much more meaningful support presence, I think.
They
than the
do.
Upsilons.
There's, yep.
Well,
Well, what's also interesting is you get to see three totally different. I mean, the Omicron is the cheap discount price, but each of the shuttles has a separate role, right? You can tell Captain Kage is specifically the anti-ordnance, Colonel Jendon is specifically for ordnance, and Sai is kind of that extra action support if you want more than just the generic cheapo.
Right. I really like the point spread of the Lambdas,
Mhm.
where they're all about the same point cost, so you're really taking them specifically for which ability you want, which I think is good. And then you have a nice discount on the Omicron if you want, just to focus on the crew or the
Yep.
body.
Yeah. So, I guess if we're going with what doesn't get played, are we going to see the prototype TIE Advanced?
I still don't think so, but this is a pretty dramatic point decrease.
Yeah, about 7% it looks like on most of them.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's pretty sharp drop. Particularly seeing the higher initiative Inquisitor be pushed, I think is pretty cool.
It is.
52 points. Now he's at least cheaper than Soontir. Which maybe you can start to have a conversation there.
Yeah, I think as a chassis, it's still good. It's finding its area. I think one of the biggest things that holds this chassis down is that there aren't really any great missiles yet.
Yeah, is this one good missile away from being playable? I think
Exactly.
is always where it's been. I don't think we still have a good missile for it, but man, if proton rockets had 2 charges, these things would be awesome.
We got plasmas now, right?
That's a
Oh, that's right.
torpedo, though.
That's a torp, though. Yeah.
That'll be a thing, though.
Absolutely, but that's not going to do the Inquisitors anything.
No. No, it's not first edition Inquisitor yet.
We can stay away from first edition Inquisitor. That's fine.
Yeah, I mean, Hate's made some of the other Sith fighters do pretty well. I think, but those have at least 5 hit points. So 4, I think that's a little low for Hate to be meaningful.
Yep. Yeah, I really think you're right. I think as opposed to first edition, second edition, the V1 is more or less going to become a missile caddy, and it's just not quite where it needs to be. I don't know that points is technically the answer, but yes, you're right. I think it's all going to come down to that missile situation.
I think
And
maybe
actually-
you could see that 35-point Inquisitor. That could be an interesting filler ship.
Yeah, that with the passive sensors, so you could take your target lock at the start of combat, and always have it, therefore guaranteeing your lock, and you'll have your
Yeah.
passive force mod, it could find a place.
You guys have me like list building here. All right, so then how about next TIE Advance? Vader went up 2.
I'm disappointed.
Not enough?
Not enough.
I
What
bet
would
you'll
have
say
been
the same
enough?
thing about the next ship on the list too.
So I really felt Vader should have gone up about 4 points because I have a specific opinion on 3 Force users. Anyone that
Mhm.
has 3 Force, and then Vader's ability when combined with now gas clouds
Yeah.
and
Well,
afterburners not going up. It's still like he's super abusable.
well,
and
three
he's
force
super
behind a gas cloud, you're never taking damage.
Right. And then you can just ignore the gas cloud and perform your actions. Like Vader's ability to break the rules of the game are so strong that I feel like
Yeah.
he's worth way more than 67 points, but that's me.
I mean, I'd rather the ships abusing afterburners go up than afterburners itself. I think for most ships, it's pretty fair at 6.
Yeah, I agree.
I personally would have liked to see Vader go up more. I think all the 3 Force users just went up 2 points.
Except for
but-
Obi-Wan, which I'm okay with.
Oh, yeah, right.
But he wasn't seeing much play.
Right.
No.
Yeah, I mean, I kind of wish a few of these lower advanced went down a point. Or maybe just Merrick. I don't know. I would like to see non-Vader advances see more play.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Because they're a pretty interesting ship with that target lock mechanic. I mean, they're kind of like the Imperial's X-wing, but they have to work harder at it.
Yeah, they are. They're like an Imperial's X-wing. That's a good analogy for it. I mean, they did make a lot of improvements on it, though, right? The dial is significantly better than it was in first edition.
Absolutely. I still upset that they have a 1 straight.
I know they're not a rebel ship.
It's a rebel ship.
Yeah, but no, I think you're spot on. I think the rest of them could probably go down a little bit, especially anyone under Merrick. Like if you wanted to try to help some of the lower initiative ones, like they could have dropped a point, and I don't think anyone would have blinked.
Right. I mean, I think the general trend that I wanted to see was Initiative 6 be punished with this points adjustment, because I think it was just when it's, when Initiative 6 is an efficient option, I don't think that's healthy for the game. And we saw, slight increases on most Initiative 6 ships, especially the ones seeing a lot of play. I just don't know if it was enough. I mean, so moving on to the Interceptor, Soontir only went up 1 point.
Not enough.
That will not
Yeah.
keep anyone from using Soontir. Your 14 bid is now a 13 bid.
Right, you maybe could have persuaded me that Vader was fine at 2. Soontir just going up 1, that feels like very much not enough.
I want to just put a bookmark in this Soontir conversation so that when we get to Lulo, I can go on my rant.
Okay.
But yes, I agree.
Yeah, I mean, I also think that these compare pretty interestingly to Fen Rao. So Vader at 67, we can remember that one.
All right. So
Yeah, I think the
Fen
Empire
is
just has
60.
really, really cheap Initiative 6 pilots, and those are both available in hyperspace. And I think that does unhealthy things to the initiative within a metagame.
Yeah, actually, now that you mention that, I had never actually done the direct comparison, Carson. So I looked up Fen Rao as 68 points. Would you rather have Fen Rao or Darth Vader? I feel like I'd rather have Darth Vader 90% of the time.
I think 100% of the time. I mean, the reliable action efficiency. Crits are good. I mean, Fen Rao rolls a lot of dice. He doesn't get to do anything with those dice after that first roll.
And he doesn't have the double mods.
Absolutely. Vader can get double mods. He also can get double repositioning through afterburners. Fen Rao doesn't even have that option to take afterburners.
Yep.
He's got the extra hit point. And I think the Force well makes up for those sometimes evade tokens that Fen gets.
But Vader can't fly with Guri, so
God.
Right.
But that's part of it too. Is the points are based on your faction.
They are. Yep,
Yeah,
that's
and
true.
for some reason, Scum doesn't get aces. It's just the Empire.
Now you know.
I think I'm okay with that though, because Scum breaks all the rules. So if they had aces that
But
also
their
broke
aces
the
are
rules,
good.
right? And then if they, that's my point.
Um,
But yes, I mean aces should be good, right? We want them
I
to be
think
good.
the Empire is more playable control than Scum does right now.
Yeah, I think you're probably correct in that. Yeah.
Um, yeah, I mean, we can complain about Scum later.
So
I mean, do you
let's
care about the other interceptors not going down? Or I don't know if anyone cares about the other interceptors.
Uh,
I mean, I'll care
I
when
mean-
they add Carnor Jax back.
so I will say this: I actually think sabers could be interesting in the right situation.
Hey, here's another fun thing for you. The I4 Fang is 10 points more than that saber.
Jeez, are you serious?
Yeah, they're terribly overcosted.
What is a saber's initiative though?
I think it's 4.
I'm looking it up right now.
Uh-oh. Can't hear Kevin.
It is 4. Yep,
There
it's
we go.
4. Interesting. I mean, it is 3 health instead of 4 health, and then they have title.
I don't think that's worth 10 points.
Not 10.
Yeah.
Yeah, not 10. Yeah,
No, because what's the
Maybe
hull upgrade
6
cost?
or 7. Hull upgrade costs like 7 points on a 3 agility ship, I believe.
I mean, because that's what it is, basically.
Right, and then the Interceptor has a very good linked action.
It does, but so we also have to think it's a different role of a ship, right? The Interceptor is technically an arc dodger, and the Fang is technically a jouster, believe it or not, because it wants to be range 1 in arc so that it can use Concord Dawn.
Totally. We can do some Rebel comparisons there on the Fangs also. It looks real good. Okay, so let's move on to the Reaper.
Nothing happened.
No changes. I think that's fine.
I'm
Once
actually
again, you know,
surprised.
I think,
thought-
but I think if you bring these down and also bring down crew,
You get some
know,
fun
You
carriers.
can have some issues potentially.
Yeah, so you're saying they're choosing to adjust the chassis by adjusting the crew instead?
I think so. I mean, you know, one that does hurt it is the tactical officer going up,
Yes. Which needed
so-
to.
Yeah, that needed
Well,
to happen, though.
Actually, I don't know that it does.
Really?
Yeah.
I was pretty happy with that change. So, you know, 6 points is a lot for changing an action from red to white, but the coordinate action is, you know, very good, and I think it's a pretty interesting trade-off. These red coordinates, I think, are pretty, like, from a gameplay perspective, like they're pretty exciting and like force players to make tough choices. Whereas white coordinates are like, whatever. We'll just throw
Sure.
these actions around.
Well, and I found the few games that I played, Richard, I typically use the coordinate to slow myself down, and I was glad that I didn't have TAC Officer. And that's why I
to
mention it.
Turn off the ailerons. That's
Yeah, to turn off the ailerons.
Hmm.
So it's just a thought, but I would have liked to see Richard go up like a point or two because he's literally the only one seeing play, and you could maybe drop the other ones down like a point because he's by far better than all of the other ones.
And just so everyone's clear, when you say Richard,
Major Vermeil.
there you go. Dick Vermeil.
Um,
All right. So the aggressor's now going to be the new hotness?
no, but you know, that's at the price point where you start looking at them, I guess.
But the turrets went up too, though.
Yeah, I was about to say, yeah, this just balances out with Vet Turret Gunner going back up and the turrets going up. Like they're more or less almost in the exact same spot they were before.
Right. I mean, so 28 points is your swarm ship that's not a good swarm ship, right? I mean, that's
Yep.
what your like Seeks come in at, stuff like that. TIE FOs are around there. So that kind of fits with, you know, other comparable ships. These guys just have upgrades that are more expensive.
Well, and
Well,
I
and
was working my job like an adult today during the FFG stream, but I did catch a little bit of it on a break, and they did say they were trying to shift costs onto cards sometimes. So like
Right.
the defenders went down, but I think that was with the juke shift.
Exactly.
So juke defenders basically the same.
well,
Right. I
and-
mean, so if you're taking these guys for missiles, I think it's a little bit better.
Well, and let's not forget how good Y-Wings immediately became when the turrets in Vet Turret Gunner went down. So we can see that this ship is one upgrade card away from being really competitive. Because, right? Suddenly, Ion Y-Wings became really competitive, or even Dorsal, I guess, became competitive from a very small change. Or if a new turret were to come out that maybe changes the game a little bit, suddenly these ships become in play totally. So
Right.
this
I
could
know
be
I have
another.
like quite a few of these models that I've used like once when they first came out.
Right. I got excited about the aggressor when it first came out in first edition. I was like, I'm gonna spam this thing. So I have more than I'll ever need.
And it's correct. For now, it's still dead, but it's maybe 1 to 2 cards away from being a really competitive ship.
Okay, so Punishers, no change. We haven't really seen much Punishers be used
Yeah.
and extended.
Except for right away at the beginning.
Well,
Right.
after the slap happened to Redline and stuff,
Right.
we haven't seen them.
Munitions have been like they seem to keep going up in cost, so I think that hurts Punishers.
Yep,
But we
for
did
sure.
get plasma torpedoes. Does that do anything for Punishers?
So, and we'll get to this later. So, plasma torpedoes, I don't think do anything for Punishers specifically. That will all be dependent on the meta.
Mhm.
Yeah. Han going away does take away the stock of plasma torpedoes a little
Right.
bit.
Because plasmas, I guess I'll go into it now. Plasmas serve a very specific role, which I like. It's that they are very good against lower agility, higher shield value targets. And that's great that you have a specific ordinance that's targeting a specific type or archetype versus like proton torpedoes are just pretty much good, period.
Right.
And plasmas are a very, not necessarily niche, but they have a very specific use. And in that use, it's very high utility. But if you faced like a heavy scum meta or a heavy droid meta, plasmas are kind of just meh.
But if you get a
Well, that's good.
group of B wings,
Oh gosh,
Right.
yeah.
I mean, I think Jedi regen's been disincentivized a little bit, but they could still be a pretty strong meta force.
Mhm.
So we could see plasmas show up that to deal with that.
Yep, it'll all depend on the meta. Like if Rebel Beef was to stick around similar to how it was, I mean, it would still crush everything. But plasmas would help against Rebel Beef.
I mean, last weekend at the regional I was at, there was a bunch of people running just Anakin and Obi-Wan, like just those two full up with shield upgrade and regen.
Mm-hmm.
And just they had a massive bid, so now they won't have as much of a bid, but you can still do that point fortressing regen, and plasma torp is a very good answer there, especially when you can reload on a Punisher or something, and keep firing that.
Yep. Well, and we could even talk about that. So as fun and interesting as Double Jedi is, let's be real. I think like as a player in a competitive environment and trying to approach things more balanced, you grow and you start to understand the game better from different perspectives. And I think Carson, we probably both agree, if Anakin and Obi-Wan and like the Double Jedi become a really staple in the meta list, that's not good for the game.
No. You never want that sort of strategy to be good for the game. You're the one who made that strategy popular.
Yeah, that's before I knew what I was doing.
Sure.
Well, I mean, like, okay, so you ran double IGs, sir, with
but
crack.
That's not regenning anything.
Sure, but you were still
my
just
IG's
like,
never regened, I guess.
you had the ability.
Yeah. I mean, I just save points by dealing a lot of damage.
Yes.
But yeah. I mean, no, like holding on to all of your points is not great. Getting half on a torrent and then running, that's a cool strategy.
It's fun and interesting.
But I think we have tools in place where if that does become pretty popular, I think we can adjust meta-wise to deal with that. With most cases here. Force is a little tough, if that is predominantly what's used, just because there's not much that really interacts with Force at all. Or really there isn't anything that interacts with it negatively.
Yeah, there isn't. And there's a specific premium I think they're trying to figure out where it's at, but and you can tell this if you played a couple games, there's a very specific premium in going from 2 Force to 3 Force.
Yeah.
It's very noticeable.
And I think we'll figure that out a lot more if Calibrated Laser gets used.
It's such a cool card from a design perspective. I really like the design of it. I just wish it was better. It's getting.
Yeah, we'll see.
Right.
So I think, I don't know what Punishes are gonna do. They're really an upgrade card dependent ship.
Yeah, it's all about the ordnance.
Okay, so TIE Defenders. I mean, if you put Juke on them, they're maybe even a little more expensive. Is there any non-Juke TIE Defenders that are interesting?
I mean, a Crackshot TIE Defender is okay, but
I mean, at this rate, in 2 years, we'll be able to run triple defenders, though.
ugh, no.
Right, they just
with
go down
nothing
1
on
point
them.
each. I mean, is Predator Defender anything?
I don't think so, because it's so much harder. Like, and that's why I mentioned Crack, because I was like, maybe you can line up the bullseye once, but with Defenders,
If you
It
can't
is a little
reposition,
bullseyes. Lining up Bullseye's not that hard.
it is.
These guys got
when
barrel
you-
roll and boost.
It is when you want another mod, though.
Well, you got
Like-
Predator. I mean,
Okay, yeah,
so
it's-
like
And then you save the
you
defense for
have
the evade,
options.
sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, Predator. You could talk me into Predator.
I'd like to
I
see you
always
fly
just-
it.
I always just look at Colonel Vestry and I'm like, why would you need Predator?
Fair. He has another.
But he's
He
the
had
only
some
defender
TIE
that-
aggressors supporting him.
Yeah. So I could see Predator. I could also see Crackshot, but I wouldn't.
Yeah, I mean, I like
put a lot.
Riyadh and Rexler too.
I think the change is okay though. We're
Yeah,
legitimately
it's fine.
not seeing defenders, but we have to be very cautious on how low they go.
Right. I mean, you'll see him on casual weeknights, and like they're a slog then.
Unless
You know,
old
it's
T's
a
around.
ship where when variance is on your side, it's unbeatable. So that's interesting. But yeah, they're a substantial point cost. I mean, are you gonna take a defender or Anakin?
Right.
That's where we're at right now.
Yep.
TIE Swarm. How do I feel about TIE
can't-
Fighters?
Yeah,
Swarm
how do you feel-
tactics went up a little bit.
I have a
But
very
not really
distinct-
noticeably on the TIE Fighters.
No.
So, are you surprised points didn't change at all in this, Carson?
I am. I thought it was
okay.
pretty clear how powerful the TIE Swarm was. But maybe that's just because they knocked me out of a regional, so...
No, I think they're statistically one of the stronger lists in
Right.
hyperspace.
I mean, I personally just think Iden is very frustrating to play against.
Oh yeah, she's a massive negative play experience.
I mean, so if you end up behind on the variance curve with your attacks, and like they don't have to spend it early, like that's just like you're just out of that game from doing damage.
or when you paid 13 points for a proton torpedo and you basically paid 7 points for 1 torp instead of 2, like that's just really
But I mean,
frustrating.
Kudos to FFG for us talking about how there's a TIE fighter we hate more than Howl Runner, or should be more expensive than Howl Runner.
Oh yeah.
Well, it's basically a second Howl Runner, is what it is.
Right.
Yeah, I feel like Iden should be closer to 45 points than 40.
Yeah, I'm actually like pretty okay with where Howl is.
Howl's fine, yes.
The Iden's a little too much. And maybe even Inferno Squadron General's a little too cheap.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, so it's sort of like the rebel efficiency issue where, they didn't have to make any tough choices. They got to have all their fun things.
Hmm.
The TIE Swarm still gets to do that. Um,
Yep. I mean, nothing has changed for the TIE Swarm effectively.
right.
Right. I mean, unless you were doing the old swarm tactics.
Right, but I think they even had like a 1 point bid, and like it only goes up 1 point on Howl Runner. So,
Yeah. I mean, the list I was looking at was, just to go into it, Sane, Gideon, Dell, Iden, Howl Runner, and an Academy. And you got marksmanship, crack shot, and then swarm tactics on Howl Runner, and that goes to 201. So that list doesn't
okay.
work.
Yeah, so you probably
But
lose a crack shot in there somewhere.
Or a marksmanship.
yeah, you literally you could switch out the Academy and put something else in for those
Yeah,
four
or you
points.
could change out one of the other name ties to something slightly cheaper, whatever. Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, it changes that list, but that's about.
Right. I mean, TIE Swarm's still going to be very effective.
Yep.
Right.
So-
right, and particularly in hyperspace, that should be pretty dominant.
Yep.
Okay, so I talked about Phantoms earlier. Was there anything else you wanted to say on those?
Are they
I
dead?
won't miss them, and I hope I never see them again. Nope, I'm good.
Do you think you'll still see any Whispers?
Maybe. I would like to start seeing some echoes. Whisper's starting to get to the point where she's really expensive, but I don't know. Like now, when I look at a Phantom, before you used to automatically default to Whisper, I feel like now you should by default be like, Echo looks interesting. Maybe Echo works, and then you see if it
I
works
think
or
you're
not.
still looking at Sigma or Echo. Yeah, I'm actually pretty surprised at how much Whisper went up.
I am too.
But whatever. I'm not.
I
I
do
mean,
like
I think
Go ahead.
the Phantoms, like individually, are pretty fun to play when you just have one Phantom on the table. Like,
Yes.
that cloak mechanic's pretty cool.
Mhm.
It's very abusable, as
Spam.
we found out that if that's all you can do, then just moving back and forth and playing shuffleboard, it's not good. So I'm glad they strongly disincentivize that. But I don't think they're completely costed out. Like, one Phantom's still pretty good. I just don't know what the list around that is.
I'm not sure either. And I'm okay not having anyone figure it out. I don't like. I'd be okay if I didn't see Phantoms for 12 months.
But you won't.
Right.
You'll still see them. People will still run stuff with Vader, and I still hate
my
it.
Fear, Vader and 3 Phantoms.
We're afraid of letting defenders even like touch the meta, but Phantoms we're like, well, let's not scare him away too quick.
Yep.
TIE Bomber, I don't know if there's anything interesting here.
No, they just did the point because of Barrage, right?
Right.
Yeah. So I think they're still fine. Mostly.
Yep.
Strikers.
And Striker not touched.
Should Strikers have gone up? Because I think they maybe could have gone up a point or two.
I think Duchess could have gone up 1 or 2. I think each one of those top 3 named ones serves a very specific role. And that
would it be
role is-
weird to have them all be 44 points? Like, is
No,
that
that's-
why they haven't?
I think it would have. That's probably why they did it that way. But I actually think they all should be 44 points because they each serve a very specific role,
Yeah.
and they're all about as equally valuable.
I mean, I could have seen Duchess being 45, honestly, and the other two be 44.
I wouldn't complain.
Initiative's powerful, and like Duchess has a repositioning ability.
Yep.
So she can really leverage that.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, so I thought like Duchess was a pretty good comparison to Lulo. When you look at chassis and like now Lulo's more than Duchess, like I think that's kind of upsetting.
Yep. Let's see. The Decimator
Got
I've
cheaper
never
and gained a
s-
crew.
Yeah, I've
Kinda
never
different
seen
on this
one on the
one.
table, so I have no idea.
I mean, yeah, like I really didn't like Decimators in first edition.
Oh yes. No.
I think they seem a lot more wholesome in second edition. And you can put a lot of crew on it, but that'll be half your list. So that seems okay.
Mm-hmm.
I wonder if adding the crew is them recognizing, hey, maybe we do need to have them add the Moff Jerjerrod. I think that lets them boost and still have their options open for crew. Maybe that's why they added a third one.
Right, or the TAC officer.
Sure. Yeah, I'm kind of interested to see a Decimator in play in second edition just because I haven't seen one yet. I don't think they'll be as oppressive as they were in first edition.
Ooh, Moff Jerjerrod also went down.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we can jump to the crew. So we talked
Um,
about Sloane.
Yeah, I mean, I think Sloan should be probably pretty good moving forward. Um, I don't, I don't know what the new Sloan shell looks like, but um, I don't know why players wouldn't pursue trying to figure that out.
Mm-hmm.
Because if anything in Empire breaks the game, it's probably Sloan.
Yes. Callus, I have literally never seen play, so he's 5 points.
Yeah, I don't know.
He could probably be 4.
Sienna Reese sounds kind of interesting. Like, very cool ability. I like maneuvering abilities. And the coordinate makes it, different than the Leia factor where you have a range on it.
Yeah, we just haven't really seen people experiment with it very much.
So I think it would be really cool to have, a sort of Palp Aces style, support ship with 2 aces and doing crazy maneuverings with Sienna Ree is something I'd like to see on the table. I think that'd be,
Mm-hmm.
talking about spectating games and it being exciting. Seeing the options with Sienna Ree definitely sounds interesting and exciting. Will it be good? I don't know, but it's getting close to the price point where, your opportunity cost is not that high.
Yep. Krennic going down a point. I think I'm okay with that. I have yet to see Krennic on the board in second edition, and I think he could serve an interesting place on some ships and in some
I'm
lists.
kind of indifferent on Krennic.
Jerjerrod, you mentioned getting the discount. I wonder if the Jerjerrod discount and the Decimator discount is almost just gonna, hey, we're gonna lower the cost of a boosting Decimator for you.
Yeah.
We'll see.
I think Palpatine should have gone up points. I think it's kind of crazy to have, like, he's got a very good ability for a Force crew.
Mm-hmm.
And like he's one of the cheaper Force crews, which I think is just kind of weird.
He is really cheap compared to everybody else that's Force. Yeah.
That's true. He's even cheaper than Ezra.
I mean, I like range restrictions. I think matter, and not having one is crazy, which is cool and thematic, but I just don't think it's costed appropriately there.
We'll see. I mean, we've started to see him pop up in a couple lists now, so we'll see.
Right. I mean, so ships like Vinder that can be all over, appreciate any modification you can give them, are a good example of where he can be abused. But the Empire has a lot of ships that don't want to be right next to their support ships.
Yep. The definition of aces.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Let's jump to
First
first
order?
order.
Sure.
So I haven't looked at this at all yet because
I really like the changes to First Order.
First Order got some breaks, points wise.
So, I mean, I think you have to look at it all in one picture where, the overall faction points in your list probably don't change. They're just skewing it in the direction of small base ships instead of Upsilons.
Yep.
Which I think is a very good choice.
yes.
Yeah, because if you weren't running an Upsilon in your list at all, you weren't doing crazy well. Like, Tabson was a staple.
Yeah, he sure was. And I think it's good to they need to try to get more diversity in that faction because it was painful.
Right. I mean, so, the Kylo 2 Upsilons, right? That's, the predominant First Order list was, in the hands of good player, a very boring list to watch. The same thing happened every game. Kylo ran around and the Upsilons tried to trade with whatever they could, whatever would give Kylo an issue.
Don't forget about how they fortressed for however long they needed to.
Absolutely, so that they could get shots and people couldn't get behind them.
Yep.
And they dangle Kylo. It is the same game every time.
Yep.
And so when you have more, ships that rely on agility and don't have many hit points and can't reinforce, games are going to be a bit more dynamic. Which
And you're
means
actually going to play the game.
Kylo's support ships might pop, and he's going to have to turn in earlier and take some risks.
Yep.
I think that seems good for the game.
Yeah, and
I
being
think it's
I5, Kylo is not always the happiest at taking risks.
No.
Right. I mean, and the Epsilon point increases, like it's 1 or 2 points. Like that's not going to keep them out of play. They're still very good. It's just not going to make them auto include. You're going to look at those FOs. Is it worth taking a few of these?
Yep. And I think it's good. So, like, if we look at SFs as well, I think it's good these changes. Like, Quick Draw was the only SF I ever saw,
Right.
Mhm.
like, at all.
All the ships
But-
that got played didn't go down.
Right.
Yeah.
Which I think was good. I'm not sure about the first order test pilot. Like, I mean, it saw a little bit of play at the end. Apparently, that was enough to keep it
Scared
out.
somebody.
Yeah.
But at the same time,
Kylo
I'm okay.
quick draw, totally fine.
Yep, and I'm okay with some of the other silencers going down like a point. A point is extremely minute, so like,
Yeah.
Right.
all right,
Yeah,
Right. I
'cause-
mean, but the SF's going down too. I mean, that's pretty good.
it
And
is.
Then
Yep.
some, especially on the lower initiative, FOs going down too. That's pretty good.
And then the Upsilon's all going up.
except
I'm
for Dormants,
surprised-
but he got his slap.
Yeah.
He got his slap a while ago. I'm
Yeah.
surprised Tavison didn't go up more.
I could have seen 3 for Tapson. Yeah. I think Davison still seems like a pretty good option.
Yep.
Yeah,
He's still cheaper than a defender.
and then
Thanison
might-
might be priced out. He is already pretty expensive, and that initiative one's not great. But it's a really good ability.
we'll find out.
Yeah.
And then Hux going down. I've seen Hux on the board like one time,
I don't know if I have.
and I kind of just went, okay. So, we'll see.
Yeah.
Yeah, that it's definitely a faction that it's probably better that we didn't look at it ship by ship so much because it is kind of a whole faction move right there.
Right.
Everything got knocked down,
4 ships, so.
Yeah, that's the other hard part is some of these factions just don't have.
and they aren't
enough
getting a
ships.
new one
They're not. Yeah.
unless there's something for the movie that we won't see till like shortly after. But
Right. I mean, they did say that Wave 6 was coming out this year, so that sounds like maybe that's what they're talking about, but.
Yeah, I'm sure we'll see a movie ship. Like, it just makes sense.
Right. Anything else on First Order?
no,
I don't think so.
I mean, I guess what are your thoughts on First Order in hyperspace or extended?
I think they're better than people thought they were, and now I think a 4-ship First Order is actually pretty good. And I think it was good before, but just like no one played it.
Right. I mean, you'll do some jousty stuff and some ace stuff, and the jousty stuff will be a little bit more exciting this time.
yeah, I always
Yeah.
thought long shot was fun, but it just didn't ever justify putting long shot in there. Like there's some
Right.
fun abilities in those FO fighters.
Right. I mean, taking those, squishier ships was a liability. Those were points you were going to give up potentially early in the game.
Hmm.
Yep. I think First Order just needs to find what it excels at, and I think that's something that we can try to experiment with now.
Circling the board with Kylo. It's really good.
Well, I think the devs are trying to push it into some kind of a synergy, right? I mean, Hux and lowering these costs of not necessarily a mini swarm, but kind of a mini swarm. I think they're trying to get more of a team game going and less of these individuals.
Totally.
We'll see.
All right.
Right, so it's
Um,
what's for dinner? Rebels.
Oh,
The meaty faction.
all right. So the B wing. So Braylon and 10 both went up.
Yep.
I have no problem with either of these.
I kind of do. So here's the thing. I'm very happy with the Dream Team being split up and rebel efficiency in
The Dream
general
Team.
being put in check. I think the named B-Wings here were pretty interesting initiative for pilot. And I think, incentivizing the mid-range initiative is pretty good for the game. And these guys got hit pretty hard.
They did. Well, I mean, the 2 points for 10 is that's not
Right,
that
but 10
bad.
wasn't really the issue to start with.
Braylon was, yep.
Right. And Braylon's like a pretty cool just ship by itself.
Yeah,
I would rather some of those points be thrown on to Cassian. I mean, he went up, but
yeah.
Also Leia. Like the ships that broke Braylon, like I would rather they go up than have Braylon not see as much play. Is my take on it.
Well, and that's the dangerous thing they have to walk, right? So, like, if we look at the B-wing in a shell by itself, you're like, oh, these changes are /harsh or maybe okay. But then when you start to look at all the things that it can combine with, like Cassian, where you talked about making interesting decisions, Braylon wasn't making decisions. He was just stressing and doing whatever he wanted because it didn't matter.
Mm-hmm.
Or now,
right, on himself, like he does make interesting decisions.
Right.
I mean, yeah, and 10 nubs not as much of an issue because he just gets focused twice, which is like, oh, cool, good. You're only going to use one of those anyway.
Yep.
Whereas Braylon getting the rerolls substantially better. I mean, so it's good that he went up more than 10, but still, it's not quite the direction I would have taken it to make the change.
Okay.
But I'm glad Rebel Beef got hit in general.
Yes, so am I. But I think we're still going to have Rebel Beef, but I think it's going to be a different kind of Rebel Beef. But
like the Arc Fighters?
No, but the Arcs, I'm okay with all of these changes.
I mean, so Arcs, I guess, across factions went down, and the Rebel, compared them to the Republic ones, were kind of overcosted.
Except Nora.
Which is fine. Yeah, Nora's got an ability that gives her, like, a few extra hit points, so that's fine.
Yep. Attack shuttles didn't get touched. So this matters slightly because I think they're getting added to hyperspace in the next wave, right?
I thought it was just the Sheathipede, not the attack shuttle.
Oh, yeah, that's right. It is the Sheathipede, isn't it? That's so weird. I have no idea. I haven't played attack shuttle since they did the first point change. I don't think I've seen one on the table since, so I don't know.
Yeah, I haven't played them. I actually haven't seen one on the table.
So we can jump to the
Wookiees don't care.
Wookiees.
Yep, my
So
worst
hold on,
my worst games
hold
ever were
on.
against Wookiees, so they can just stay out of the meta if
they
at all
can stay
possible.
out of it, but I will tell you, people are experimenting with things like Dutch and Wolfwaro and some action feeding to get Wookiees into the game. So don't be surprised if you start to see a couple like 4-ship Rebel Wookiees. Now with the other changes, I don't know if that's possible, but I know towards the end, right before this came out, people were screwing around with gunships coming into the game. So yeah,
And they didn't take much of a hit, so
no.
They still can't K-turn, right?
No, but I mean, when you just hard turn every turn, you're K-turning and still shooting more or less with actions, right?
Yeah. I mean, you could still kind of get behind them. Like the Rebel, previous iteration, like, you get behind their block of 4 ships, and then next turn they shoot you with mods because they all K-turn. Like, that was terrible for aces, so.
It was. No,
I'm not as concerned about the Wookiees.
No, I'm not either. I'm just saying they may be creeping up out of nowhere. So Y-Wings?
Yeah, I mean, so Y-Wings get hit with upgrades more than points.
right.
They do, yes.
Is the turrets and veteran turret gunner go up, which is good. That was a little bit of a mistake last time, bringing them down.
Yep. Dutch going up 1 point. I think I'm okay with that. I also wouldn't have complained if he was at 41.
Yeah, I mean, he's not quite an issue right now, and Munich been going up. So I don't think he's gonna be super abused.
No, I don't think so either. I think Y-Wing should be fine now that the rest of the stuff that they use got adjusted.
Right. I mean, everyone's got those cool new Y-Wing mods to use them.
Yep. So K-Wings.
And now everyone got those cool B-Wing mods.
Yes, the B-Wing models do look good.
I don't know. Someone had them and just had their wings down, and I was like, oh, that looks a little sad. Oh, Kevin's favorite ship went down.
Okay,
Yeah,
Wayne.
Miranda. So Miranda only went down 1 point technically because Barrage went up.
Well, if you're going to make her half your list, Kevin, you still have another 57
No.
points to throw on her.
No.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if I really care about a CG or Miranda, but the Wardens going up was pretty good.
It was needed, yes, because 4 K-Wings would have been a menace.
That's gross, yeah.
You know, honestly, if Miranda plus Corrin isn't even 100 points.
Yeah, Corn is not.
Oh, no, it is. It's 109.
He's
Yeah,
not
I mean,
the same guy.
Corrin's a fair, wholesome ship right now. So
Mm.
Kevin wouldn't touch that.
That is right.
We do see the rogues go down. I mean, okay, so on the Wardens, like, they go up 2, Barrage goes up 1. That's, like, enough, right?
Yep, I think that's enough. Yep.
Yeah, so rogues and knaves go down. I think that's cool.
I think that's fine. I think Corn is probably costed about right, so I'm okay.
Welcome back, everybody.
So, Rebel Hawk.
Yeah,
Where
Rebel
we're
Hawk.
at.
So Rebel Hawk gets a small decrease in points. I mean, were we really seeing any Rebel Hawks besides
No, we
Jin?
weren't. I mean, so you were seeing a bunch of Hawks, Rebel and Scum, before the January update, and then you kind of saw none of it.
Yep.
And so I think there's, I think there's room for them to find their way back into the game. The Rebel ones go down a lot more than the Scum ones.
They do.
I like that Jan didn't go down that much because she was closest to seeing play.
We'll see if maybe Kyle fills a role of a coordinator now. Like, in a list that would want a coordinator, maybe they want to add Kyle instead.
I feel like
And
Kyle's
that-
been overcosted like his whole history.
He has, yep.
So could be cool. He's an interesting support ship.
A-Wing's not changing. I think I'm fine with that because I don't think you can go much cheaper.
I wanted Jake to go up a few points.
You want him to go up, really?
Yeah. Screw Jake.
Carson is in Jake's spot right now, so that's a thing.
It's okay. Jake's not an ace, so we can agree.
I mean, like, he saw some play. Like, I think he's a pretty good ship. He just has bad initiative.
Yeah, he's not bad, but I don't know if you. I feel like if he goes up much, he doesn't see play again.
Dude, I don't know. People are putting 12 points worth of upgrades on him.
Yeah, well, that's because the other ship in their list did everything for them. But yeah,
Jake was annoying though.
I mean, he can be annoying, but if you actually turned on him, you could murder him.
Well, he just had
'Cause
to,
he didn't
like,
have
look
focus
at him,
evade.
and then he'd run away. Yeah. Well, he had like focus lone wolf, which was good.
Yeah, it's good.
Sheathipeds, I don't know if I care. They look pretty priced right.
I still feel like Fenrow's overcosted. I've said that since day one.
Yeah, but I don't really care about that Fenrir. Like, I don't know if we want a competitive ship. Dude, a little I6 coordinator. It's good. We know.
I
That's
don't know.
good.
I feel like Fen should be in the game, and at 52 points, he is not in the
Yeah,
game.
he should be in the game in his Fang Fighter. Sheathipede.
He's got no business as a rebel.
Like, that's not it. I just don't think that's a interesting ship for the game.
As District Foundry said in chat, Rebel Fen Rao is still paying for the sins of Ghost Fen.
Yeah, I think he's.
I mean, there are some people that are paying for first edition sins. I mean, triple defenders.
Yeah,
We're not getting close to those because of that.
Yeah, why is Mike Horn still paying for the sins of first edition? What's up with that?
That's kind of the sins of you. So.
Hi Ken. Yeah, I don't know. Like,
Oh yeah,
I mean, I
and
guess
jump
we'll see if the
masters.
sheath defeats become an issue in hyperspace, but I mean, they haven't really been a thing in extended, so
Right. Well, it also comes down to, right, should they see play or not? I mean, we're gonna find out if they see play once the ghost becomes hyperspace legal, but I guess that also depends on what they do with the format.
right. But I mean, a dock shuttle doesn't even do as much on a ghost right now.
No,
And like that's a lot of points to upgrade that.
it is.
I'd rather throw an A-wing or something in the list.
They'd be cheaper. We'll see.
Okay.
So the X-wings, only Wedge gets hit, and Wedge gets hit kind of hard.
Really? I don't think that was hard enough.
I think part of it is
everyone in the
is-
chat was like, "Oh yay, 3 points is perfect for Wedge." I was like, he could have gone up to 58.
But again, I think some of their
What?
point increase that's
No.
hidden is is on Torps going up.
Yeah, I think
Sort
3 points is fine. I think Wedge was a bit too cheap at 52. I think 55's pretty good. I think chat's dead right. You just have some serious haterade for Wedge.
I do hate Wedge. I mean, not getting to roll green dice that's no good.
I mean, if you bring more than one, you get to roll them.
Okay, so yeah, but I also get the whatever the crit that I roll less.
Oh, sure.
And then Wedge
So-
hits me.
So you need to stop being an arc. That would help.
Yeah. Okay, so how much better is Fen Rao's ability than Wedge's ability offensively?
Massively better?
Really?
Oh yeah. Yeah. The difference between you rolling 1 less defense dice and me rolling 5 attack dice is
Well, Wedge rolls 4. Okay, so if we're at range 1, right?
Mhm.
+1 red dice versus -1 green die.
Red
Okay.
dice always beat a green dice.
You
Correct.
only have 1 mod on offense.
Who says that? There's no carrier, there's no predator? I run my Fen route with
I don't
predator.
know. You have 68 points. How many more points do you have for support?
Well, I
Wedge has
start
a lot
Fen
more
at
points for
70
support.
because predator should be stapled to him.
I also put Predator on Wedge, but
Really?
I mean, like I don't think Fen Rao is more than 10 points better than Wedge.
Oh,
and
I
if
think
you're
Fen
talking
Rao's
about-
chassis is significantly better than Wedge's chassis.
Really? Like
Oh,
so
yeah.
2 extra hit point, 2 shields on an X-wing versus sometimes an evade. Like, a lot
So,
of things don't even get to go into range. They die before they get there.
well, then you need to get better. Fangs
Um,
are missiles. That's their job, is to get range 1. And if you're not getting range 1, you're playing it bad. But
I mean,
so like
okay, so would you rather have an I4 X-wing or an I4 Fang?
an I4
Like, would
Fang,
you rather have like Thane Kyrell or a generic I4 Fang?
Fang every time.
I think Thane's probably a better jouster.
No way.
I actually don't even know what Thane does.
Thane allows
You
him
see
to
the
flip
damage
card.
card thingy?
Yeah.
It's pretty good.
Yeah, I think you're really undervaluing Concord Dawn and the flexibility of linked actions with the Fangs, being able to do a lot more
No, X-Wings
things.
have linked actions too, right?
X-Wing kind of have linked actions, kind of, but it's
Um,
terrible.
Yeah, you can boost and focus and take a stress.
I think
if
the rest of
you're
the
going
X-Wings
to take one less red dice.
are costed fine, though, right? I don't think they need changing.
Yeah, no, 'cause especially when you make torps as high as they are.
Yeah, I mean when you're slapping the rest of the faction, like I don't think the rest of the
I
X-Wings.
think Luke could have gone up a point or 2.
I would argue Luke should go down
Really?
before I could see up. Yes,
Dude's so annoying.
he's a good ship, but he's not great.
I mean, so, like, I think you can still fit Luke, Wedge, U-wing with Leia, and, you know, either torpedoes or a 4th ship. And I think, like, Leia really does make both those high initiative X-wings like substantially better. And I don't know if that should not be an option, but I would like to see that be constrained a little bit more.
I think we're gonna start to see the Rebel beef transition more into an X-wing laden Rebel faction, which I would like to see.
Right. I mean, so the X-wings are a little bit more dynamic. You have fewer hit points and more agility compared to the B-wings. But like they can be just as much of an issue.
Yeah, they can.
And so, okay, people got pushed away from B-wings. Like they'll just play X-wings now, and that'll be fine. Like they're not going to have too much of a sacrifice there.
No, they're going to be a little bit more averse to variance though, whereas B-wings really care less about a variance than X-wings do.
Right.
So we'll see.
I don't know. I think Luke's going to be really strong.
I think Luke will be strong, but I think he's going to be kept in check by all the I6s, as he has been.
Eh.
Someone just doesn't like Rebels. Holy crap.
I mean, I really don't, but
All right.
So-
Well, if we want to
we'll
move
go to-
on to the Rebel TIE
Yeah.
Fighter
We'll go to the Rebel TIE Fighter. Does anyone
There's
care?
next.
nothing really
I mean, nothing changed. I don't know if anyone's ever going to want to fly a Rebel ship that pops like that
I mean, so
Yeah.
without
Right, I mean,
Nathan's
so-
trick in first edition of
That was a cool trick.
yeah,
right.
But
but it
yes,
needed
I-
that trick.
Yeah, when are we going to see Ahsoka show up?
I don't think we're going to.
She's in the pack with she's in a card pack with Carnor Jax.
She's going to be in an Aether sprite or something.
Right, but like, we have the Force, and then she doesn't show up like that. I mean, if she comes in an A-wing at I-5, like, that's cool.
Yeah.
Then I'd maybe play Rebels.
Otherwise,
So, I mean, I think the U-wing change is interesting. I don't know, like, so Cassian goes up 4 points. That's good,
yes,
um,
needed. Absolutely.
but like, the other ones are still pretty good.
Yeah, but now they'll actually maybe see play.
I mean, a lot of people were not playing Cassian, so they could fit more ships
Other things. Yep.
in their beef list.
But now Megva is less than Cassian.
I mean, they're pretty close. I mean, Leia going up helped. I don't know.
Well, and I think that's the thing, right? Leia
And
was
the
Leia was the
coordinated guy
offender.
going up to 6 helps that crew. TAC officer.
Yeah. Yep. Leia and TAC Officer both going up were the offenders. So
Right.
you shouldn't raise necessarily the chassis. You should raise the offenders.
Mhm.
Yeah, and I think if they're not stopping for free every turn, that'll make the U-wing players.
Yep. No, I agree absolutely.
I think
Uh,
you'll still see U-wings with Leia. Like,
Maybe.
really? I think that still seems.
I think it'll
pretty
still
good.
be in there.
I mean, like,
I-
either the blue or the partisan with Leia comes in at 49. Like, you can still fit, 150 points of other good stuff and get Leia.
Yeah, you can. We'll see. I need to sit down with the builder before.
I think
can build
Leia's
it,
just
but
not an
maybe-
auto ad anymore.
No.
Which is-
It's not like, sure, throw her in. I liked Leia because that made me feel like I was a good player because I could start predicting what my opponent was going to do. Because I was like, oh, Leia's at full. You're going to K-turn at least 2 of those ships. And then all of a sudden it happens, and I'm like, haha.
Ghost Unchanged, indifferent.
Yeah, we'll see. I'm interested to see the ghost.
Yeah, I mean, it's a ship that could be an issue, but
And then
it hasn't so far. So I
did
don't
something
know.
change with its upgrade bar?
Uh,
Sensors in bold for some reason. I'm not sure if that was it.
Yeah, I'm not sure. It was there before, so
Okay. Maybe they're just saying, like, use it, guys.
so we can jump to the Omega offenders.
Well, lost their illicit but gained a mod.
So
Yeah, I think this was a pretty elegant solution.
I'm fine with it. Yeah, because
Yep.
then you're gonna have engine upgrade and then something else, right?
It just
Right.
stops I6 stop.
Well, yeah, I mean, and R2D2 went up a little bit too, which I think was needed. Like, that guy was still too good even without dampeners.
I mean, Han is still going to be bananas.
Yeah, I mean, gosh, it was a pain to set dials against that Han. Like, one of my ships has to cover here, the other two have to cover there.
And then you have to hope you get enough damage to matter.
Right.
So Han and Jake didn't change.
No, I mean, I think you'll still
Well,
see
it did.
Han see play, which is cool. So they didn't have to like price him out of play. You just can't do the dampeners thing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Like, he still has a very good ability.
Oh, yeah.
Like, you could just do a lot of dumb things. I mean, just rolling over an asteroid and getting to re-roll that damage die, like, that's real good.
Oh, yeah. I mean, Lone
You can
Wolf
still
on
do
Han.
R2D2 regen, right? Like, you know, the R2D2 is going to cost a little more, and that's fair. It should.
Yeah, I think Han is still absolutely playable.
Well, and that Lando, like, you know, people weren't putting dampeners on him. Like, he's really good. Like, you just kind of get double mods. Like, put the Neon Nub on him.
Yep. What do you mean? Range 1 to 3 or 0 to 3 coordinates good? How dare you?
Right. I mean, even if you're not, you know, throwing it out on somebody else, like, he just gets target lock focus, and cool, that's good.
It sure is. Yep. The white elephant in the corner that no one wants to talk about, the YT2400, and not changing at all. Like,
for some reason, everyone in the chat was like, "Bring Dash back." Who are these people?
I don't know that I want to see Dash. Like, I loved Dash in first edition because it was silliness, but I don't know that I want to see him again, especially after the short period in time of what we saw. Like,
I mean, Dash is what's wrong with X-Wing design. Its abilities that take away the fundamentals of the game, that make
like gas clouds.
Yeah. I mean, he's gas clouds the ship.
Yeah.
But I'm rolling 4 dice, so it matters.
Yeah. I mean, you have to pay more for trick shot now. Cool. So I guess Dash went up.
I still think Lone Wolf on Dash is just fine.
Yeah, I'm sure it is.
But I'm okay with the 2400 not changing, but at some point I would maybe like to see them on the table.
I wouldn't. I'd rather see Jump Masters on the table. Let me put it that way.
Oh, are you kidding me?
Well, we'll get to that.
Did we play X-Wing at the same time, Carson? You had to deal with that Jump Master extravaganza.
Yeah, man. And Dash got me my first store championship cut way back when. Because I was bad, but he's just so good it doesn't matter.
Z95s.
We're not going to see him.
Blair Bunky would disagree.
I mean, yeah, as blockers.
Blount's still interesting at 30.
I think they're fine. I think Z95s are.
I mean, they did rock me when someone was running the tractor beam
right.
B-wing and then just light you up with Z95s. One blocks you and the other one's just... Oh. But I mean, I think they're fine for how they're used and how much they're seen. They're not being overused or anything.
Just needed to come down to get closer to them.
Yeah.
So droids. So they reworked R2D2 based on agility.
So he's cheaper in general.
He's cheaper in general, but he costs 1 more for my boy Cornhorn, which he wasn't using him anyway, I guess, because points.
Right.
Right. I mean, so he's cheaper on X-Wings. I don't know if that's anything.
I think the problem is you almost don't need R2D2. Like, I ran R2D2 at Coruscant, and I almost never needed the 3rd charge with Luke. I don't know how often you're really going to need the 3rd charge.
Right. There's a bigger difference between BBs and BB-8.
And so I think I like that reduction. Because, compared to just the generic R2, I mean, it's, pretty substantial diminishing returns.
Yep. Leia, I think we've already covered that one.
Yeah, and then Leia's been covered to death.
Maul.
R2D2 crew, we already talked about. I don't know.
Maul went up a point. I don't think I've even seen Maul in a Rebel list, at least.
No, but he did see playing Scum.
Okay.
So he's paying that tax there.
And Saw went up a point. I did see Saw in a couple games on a Ghost. He is very effective on a Ghost. I'll just say that. And Ezra Bridger Gunner going down as he should because he was stupidly overcosted.
He was pretty high there, yeah. I wish they brought Luke back up a little points because it's like, oh shoot, somebody played him. We should bring him back up.
Yeah, I don't know why they lowered the cost on Luke to
Yeah.
begin with. Okay.
Over
let's
to the
move
Jedi?
Republic.
Overall, I'm pretty happy with these changes.
Some pretty
I am-
drastic changes, though.
I am completely fine with all of these changes. All of them.
Yeah, I mean, so the low and let's start at the boring stuff. The torrents and arcs, the low initiative guys, the ones that actually saw plays, no change.
Yep. I'm actually
I mean-
surprised that the 42-point battalion didn't go up like a point or two. Because they're a really good deal for 42 points.
They're a really good deal, but they're gonna have points comparable to the Naboo's now. I mean,
Yeah, and then Naboo will change the feel of the faction.
I think so, yeah.
I mean, they weren't breaking the game at 42 points. I mean, they looked like a steal when they came out. Like, oh my goodness, 42. But it's like, okay.
Like, they're solid 42 points, right? They're worth
I
the
mean-
42.
Right, and so they were the higher initiative ones, like, are worse, just that cost more. And, like, you don't really care about most of those things. But take an arc, like,
Ooh.
add somebody.
Discord was having some yuckiness. Are you seeing that too, Walker?
Yeah, we're sound like robots.
It switched my region to US Central. Just switch it back to East, and that should solve your problem.
I don't know if I can.
Do you know what we're talking about, Carson, in the top right corner? You can set the
USE.
region. It sounds like the US Central Discord server is having some issues the last week or so.
Should we be west?
You should be on East.
Okay. I am on east.
Walker, did you switch yours?
I'm still East. I didn't switch.
Do we want to try West then?
West. That's
Let's
where I'm at.
give it a go.
In that west life.
Did that solve anything, Walker?
It looks green, so
All right, cool. Weird
Keep
Discord
going.
issues.
yeah.
West is west.
Internet
Alright,
is fun.
So, arcs. Do we have anything more we want to say on arcs?
No.
So,
Okay.
um,
The big baddies. So Anakin went up. I'm fine with that.
Yep.
Totally fine with that.
should he have gone up more?
No, because they also built in cost to Delta.
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, I think he could have gone up a point or two more.
I mean, he's gonna pay a 4-point tax. I think that's probably about right because then regen also went up.
I mean, so here's the thing. Like, they wanted to punish ships that were in every list in a faction.
Mm-hmm.
And I think Anakin fits that bill.
Oh, he sure does.
Yes.
Like, I mean, it's the Republic's a small faction, but Anakin has just carried the faction, right?
Yeah.
He
With
has, yeah.
Anakin with Jedis, Anakin with arcs. It's Anakin with something.
Right.
Yep. Every list
Um,
started with Anakin.
I mean, the exception to that would be Obi-Wan. Like, if it didn't have Anakin, it had Obi-Wan.
But those were
are
usually
pretty
very
few and
different
far
lists.
between.
Like
Um,
if an Anakin list and an Obi-Wan list were usually very different lists, though.
Right. I
Like,
mean,
you
so I
see-
like them incentivizing other Jedi pilots with decreases. I still think Anakin could be an issue for the game.
Oh no, I don't disagree. I think Anakin's ability is bananas.
I think of him like Kylo though in that way too, where he's dangerous and they got to be real careful because he could be
They do.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, you
trouble.
wanna
But
play So I guess we'll see. I'm skeptical, but
I'm
uh,
surprised they lowered Mace by a point.
yeah, I mean, I think he was late to the game. That people caught on to Mace. I mean, he was the Jedi I was most excited for. Just having like an efficient 3-Force ship, and the ability to regen Force is busted.
It's really good.
Yeah.
I am also okay with the big cost reduction on Plo Koon, Obi-Wan,
Obi-Wan
and
seems like
Varys.
maybe too much down. I don't know. Like he was pretty close to fine. Um,
Obi, I'm a little concerned on, but I'm optimistic because his ability
is
is
not that
good.
good.
It's good in the right situation. So his ability leans itself much more to CLT. And if
I
that
mean,
pushes the faction to start to use CLT more, then that's a good thing.
totally agree. I don't think anyone's going to be complaining if the calibrated laser Jedi's are like doing really well. It's like you deserve it, man. You got your
You earned it.
um, and like you couldn't kill a 4 hit point ship. Like I don't know, that seems pretty good.
Yep. And we know how fast A-Wings go down. They're basically A-Wings then.
Yeah. I mean, they have some good modification options,
They do. Yep.
but their offense is really going to suffer if they do that. Um, and these ones have pretty good access to double repositioning, whereas other A-Wings have pretty limited repositioning trees.
Yep.
But I like that Obi-Wan and Plo go down substantially because those I think are going to be the ones that people want to put the calibrated on, the higher initiative.
Yes. Yep, that seems right.
And Ahsoka staying the same seems good. She's got a real good ability.
Yeah, she does. So the N1 prices, is anyone surprised by these numbers? I'm not really.
I like the distribution generally. Is Handmaiden too high?
Let's see. How much is she? 44. No, I don't think so.
All right.
Because of their
I don't
ability.
really know. I haven't really seen it, in use. Just my gut, like, just first reactions, like, oh, that seems a little high. I like the Bravo officer being way cheap.
Sure. Yep.
I think that seems like a better filler ship than a Torrent.
I'm glad that Padme is the most expensive, as she should be.
That seems right. I mean, yeah, I think she still probably sees play at that point. But I mean, Rick's gonna be the one I want to mess with because high initiative.
Yeah, I think will be interesting to see if the Naboo turns into a little bit of an ordnance carrier or not, or what roles it's going to fill. I'm interested to see if it becomes a big part of a 3 ship, if it works its way into a 4 ship. I really hated the options were just Jedi or filler Torrent and maybe
Right.
an
Well, and now you have, I think, 2 realistic Jedi options.
right.
Your 2 different configurations. So I think they have a lot of good list building pieces here.
I agree. And then Torrents, all the ones that should go down went down.
Yeah.
And they added a talent to swoop. Sure. Sure.
Is this just like Rip Tucker, no talent? What like?
Yeah, I don't know. I'm really totally disinterested in Torrents. I think I played one game with them and I was like, I hate this ship. No, thank you.
Yeah. I mean, I kind of feel like they're a liability. Like those are ships that are gonna go down. The dial, like stat line's fine. The dial's just real bad.
Yeah. Like the ship's just not interesting to play, I think was my issue. Like
right. I mean, I'm much more excited about the N1s.
Yes. All right. So we can talk about the Delta going up as it should because it was easily the best configuration.
So, I kind of wanted their unique droids to go down a little bit.
Really?
to make it more of a decision between regen or cool maneuver option stuff. I mean, regen went up, but I think it would have been nice to see these go down a point or so.
I guess I'm kind of impartial.
I mean, they're like like pattern analyzer that you get to use twice, but they cost like the same amount.
Sure. Well, they also wouldn't have access to pattern analyzer. But yeah, I can
Totally.
see how it's a limit of 2
Um,
uses, but sure.
Like, so I mean, abilities like that make for exciting plays. Regen droids make for the opposite of that. So I'd like to see that aggressive playstyle be pushed.
Okay.
So do you see battle meditation getting cheaper affecting anything?
Nope, that does not.
Maybe. Actually, maybe.
I mean, with the Naboo, you get 2 handmaidens out there.
I think battle meditation works.
Lets you double
Maybe.
coordinate, right?
It's pretty
Yeah.
pricey.
It's really still expensive, and it gives an action. I'm totally fine with it going down in cost. It probably will end up going down further in cost.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, like, you're not really netting in action because it costs a force. So it's kind of a wash, like comparing it to a normal coordinate.
Yeah, it's at a weird spot.
And
Right.
like, you can't coordinate the ships that you would normally want to coordinate.
It's really, I think, going to fit into like an Obi-Wan style list.
Yeah, but even then, like, I don't think he wants to pay 10 points for it.
No, he doesn't want to. He doesn't want to pay that much for it, and that's why I said I think it'll still go down, unless people figure out some kind of weird like Luminara list or something. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, so we talked about the Jedi configs a bit, but so calibrated laser, you know, the good comparison for it was heavy laser, and now it's priced comparatively to heavy laser.
Yep. Although I think it's still a little expensive, even on the high end. But
I mean, so heavy laser cannon's better than calibrated,
Mhm.
because you know, you could say that a guaranteed result is better than rolling an extra die, but really, heavy laser cannon lets you roll 4 dice versus the 3 the Jedi are rolling. So
right. And you still have to spend something to get that value.
Yeah.
Like it's not just free.
it's the second worst result on the
Yep.
die that you get guaranteed. So
I think the biggest thing that hurts calibrated is that you don't get the mod slot too. Like that really hurts.
yeah,
I mean, I understand why. So they wanted to limit it so you couldn't just use afterburners.
Oh, I thought it was the whatever their target lock.
The targeting thing is also part of it, but the biggest
that
part
would have
was
made it playable
afterburners.
because then you could have been able to modify that attack.
Right. But it's like I get it. I still think calibrated could go down at the highest too. Like it doesn't need to be 5. It should probably be closer to like 3 at the highest end. But I'm totally fine with it being free for the generic Jedi in the really low initiative. Like I'm totally fine with that.
It's not free because
Yeah,
the
it is.
lowest one. No,
It's 0.
no, because the lowest Jedi, like if you count backwards, like 6, 5, 4, 3 is paying 2 points for it.
Oh. I was reading that wrong. Okay. Okay. Well, okay. So that equates into like part of their price reduction. I think calibrated should be free on the generic. But
I
that's
mean, maybe 1 point. Like, I don't think you see non-configured Jedi's right now.
no, you don't.
I mean,
and
I
you
think before
shouldn't
they-
really.
They tried to make you have 3.
Are we,
jump
we're
to
good.
resistance.
So going to resistance.
right.
Don't worry, guys, you didn't miss anything. And now we're gonna have to change our rating from PG to X because this is where Kevin has to change his underwear.
Most of the changes I was fine with.
Of course you were.
Really?
You're a huge
Yeah,
resistance guy,
exactly.
so this is exactly what you're looking for.
I have no
That's
faction bias.
Exactly what I didn't want them to do with the resistance.
So let's start at the top.
Star
So,
Fortress.
The Star Fortress, which honestly I
Sure.
would have been fine if it never existed.
I
I'm
so
surprised
Star
Venny went
Fortress
down.
goes down 2 across the board. Yeah, I mean, maybe Vinny could have gone down just 1 instead or something. But
Or
like
not
so the
at
trend
all.
here, right? I mean, I would prefer if none of the large base ships went down, because the Resistance gets a lot of good crew.
Yeah, they
and I
do.
think that would have been enough to make them see more play. So they're going down and getting a lot of good crew option. This seems like a recipe for disaster,
Could be.
which is, what happened with Rebels last points change. And I can see the same thing happening to Resistance here.
Agreed.
This is how you get Fat Han issues.
Correct.
Whereas
I mean, we can.
Yeah, I mean, we also get the points for the Resistance Transport and Transport Pod. Pretty cheap.
Yeah. So, what did you think? We'll start with the transport. What did you think about points for the transport?
Okay, so I mean, I didn't know what these were going to cost because, support abilities are pretty good, but
The dial's
these chassis
atrocious.
are hot garbage. Their action bar is like the worst action bar we've ever seen, right? On both these
Yeah.
things. And their dials are very bad. I think these points seem pretty good.
They
I don't
do.
know.
Is
You
there
want
one of them
lower?
that sticks out to you? No, I think their points are probably about right.
I mean, I can't remember what all the named abilities do, but the cheap one seems pretty good.
Sure. I think in my mind, there's really only one rebel transport or resistance transport, and that is Nodin. And I
What does
don't
that one do?
think it's close. He is the initiative 2 that when you coordinate, you can also perform an action, basically. You'll end up getting double stressed, but it's okay because you're going to have a specific crew member on your team and an
It
R4
clears all the
astromech.
stress.
Yes. And let me tell you, I've played 3 games with it, and I don't miss Lulo. That's all I'm gonna say.
All right. I mean, like, the logistics pilot taking the Leia crew, that doesn't seem terrible.
If you're going to play a 3-ship list, maybe.
Yeah,
But
I don't know.
that's where our diversity happens, right? Like, you really like a 3-ship resistance.
I mean, well, we can get into it when we get into the A-wings, but yeah, I mean, I also actually think that if we're looking for just coordinating, I think I like the transport pod better. But I think if you're looking for some abusable combos, then
The transport pod can't coordinate natively, though.
yeah, but that 3PO BB-8 sounds pretty cool.
Oh, sure.
I mean,
Except
so these
so
things are pretty squishy. I know you have other plans for BB-8, but
I do, yes.
like, I think this makes taking BB-8 a bit more of a choice because, like, I think he's probably the best transport pod.
Really?
Yeah,
I
because,
think it's
like, Rose is not bad, but, like, I don't think you want your transport pod anywhere near the fight, and I think BB-8 accomplishes that by running away really good.
It's just basically a peg out there, though. Ugh.
Yeah, that can coordinate.
Yeah.
Sure. I guess that's the role you're gonna make it fit. Then sure. Like, yes, they're gonna die. I think VI solves like a really cool role, especially as an Initiative 1 ship. Like, man, that's really interesting, especially when you're not bidding, and I don't like to bid. Rose is just really efficient, right? She gets all the rerolls,
Yeah,
probably because you probably have an A-wing or 2 in arc.
sure.
Finn, whatever. BB-8 could be interesting. But yeah, you're right. I literally just don't even look at BB-8 because he's busy. I think overall the pods are like, I know some people are really excited about the pods. I'm more excited about the resistance transport.
I mean, so both these ships I think are liabilities in your list because your other resistance stuff is gonna move very fast.
Mhm.
And do you want to be in coordinating range? Then that means these guys are gonna be at least semi close to danger. I mean, luckily they're not too many points, so going after that not the best option.
Part of what I found with the transport is that it's a lot beefier than people think it is, and it
Well, it's
does.
like a B-wing without an action, right? Because it's
Well, no,
probably
but with
doing something
Nodin, you still get actions. Like that's why it's so good.
Right,
I was,
you
yeah,
get
I
that
was
focus
coordinating and
action.
still taking a focus. Or if they're not going to shoot at me, I'll just take a target lock.
I mean, so the C-3PO does that too, because you get to calculate when you.
Yeah. Yep. So there's options. Like there's definitely. I just think there's a lot more to explore at the transport, but it is more expensive. But you are correct. The list does play significantly different than like a Poe 3A would play, or like a normal Resistance Aces list would play, because you're right. You do have a plotter who can't really do a lot of mobility, so you have to run it kind of like what you would with Bastion, even less so.
Right. I mean, so I was looking at was like the. So if you're using 3PO, then you get that droid coordinate effect, and so then you can take like the resistance shuttle with the whatever droid gives you it's the resistance thing, and so then you can coordinate to Rey or whoever from afar, and have keep your little dinky thing out of the fight for a few turns until you need the coordinate.
Sure.
And have it show up on the far side of the board.
Yeah, global coordinate. We'll see how good that is.
Yeah, I mean, I think you want to play with some of that weird maneuver stuff because, like, the mobility is why you're looking at resistance to start with, and these things are kind of counterproductive to that.
They are. Yep, I would agree.
So that's kind of the big hurdle.
Are you ready to go for the gut punch?
Yeah, we can talk about A-wings.
All right. Let's start with the number one offender.
Lulo.
Yeah, I mean, so this is pretty frustrating because the devs were like, yeah, like, those top initiative pilots, like, we wanted to, just keep them in check a little bit. They're mainly talking about Initiative 6. Lulo is not Initiative 6, and all the other pilots did not get hit as extreme as Lulo.
Yep.
Even though most of those other power play that Lulo does currently.
Yep, I would agree. I'm actually surprised that Zari didn't go up a point, just because why would I not just take Zari when I was like, if I was going to take a green,
right?
Well, I guess I'm just going to take Zari because it's a free ability.
Yeah. The green and the blue going up was weird. Tally going up, like, I can kind of see.
Sure, I can accept 1 point on it.
Yeah. 5
now,
on Lulo. That's a lone wolf. I already paid for a lone wolf. That's too much.
Yeah, so I'm going to go on my rant really quick on Lulo. I could accept 3 points. I would push you really hard about 4, and 5 is literally unplayable. In a competitive environment, I do not believe a 5-point increase on Lulo, making him a base of 43, is competitive in any way, shape, or form. I think people have forgotten, because they're frustrated with watching you roll 3 to 4 attack dice. They have forgotten that Trickshot was nerfed again. They have forgotten that Lulo is literally a 4 hit point X-Wing if he's being shot at. And we talk about how X-Wing
I had some bad blankouts last weekend, and my Lulo disappeared real quick.
Like, I think people have forgotten that Lulo is an interesting decision maker, and he is a good ship. But I feel like just the whining and complaining about how effective he was really overlooked. Like, he's a great ship, yes, but now he's been overcosted out of existence, in my opinion. And here we are in 6 months. Watch, Lulo's gonna go back down because he was overcosted. And fine, that's fine. We'll do that for now.
I mean, so they made pretty dramatic scum nerfs in January, and none of those really went down. So
Maybe. I don't know. I was like you, very fired up about this one.
Yeah, I mean, I just put LEDs in my Lulo,
That's a good reason.
so I was pretty invested.
Well, now you can put lights in your Ray.
Yeah, some more work. And it looks really good on the A-Wing engine, like because they're in a little bit with that outer ring.
Yep. Well, and I also think people are kind of forgetting, like, A-Wings were super amazing right away when they had trick shot. And then trick shot went up a little bit and they got less good. And now trick shot went up a lot and they're a lot less good.
Yeah, and just like the other factions hadn't figured out what they were doing was a lot of it too. Like, because they were like really just dominant in hyperspace, and then like B-wings and interceptors got added, and like then they were fair at best. Like, yeah, I mean, so this seems like this decision was made in like April, maybe.
Probably.
June is like what this feels like.
Well, and especially once like Soontir and Vader really came to rise to prominence, like
Right.
Lula was running scared all the time. Like,
Yeah.
I don't want to stress. You're gonna
So
wreck me.
as far as like aces go, like you want your initiative 5 aces to be the ones that are the most common. Like you want the initiative 6 to be a tough choice to take. And so like in the resistance, I don't know why you wouldn't take Poe compared to Lulo. Like you're looking at aces.
Yep.
Which I don't think like I mean it's not that like Poe shouldn't see play. My dog's name is Poe.
Again, great reason.
Right. I mean, so it's not like I dislike that character, but for a game perspective, like you want the initiative 5 aces to be more played than the initiative 6.
Yeah, I agree.
That works within the initiative system, like has much more metagame play.
Yep. So let's look at the 1300s. All of them go down. Ray the most. I think I'm fine with pretty much all of that.
Yeah, I mean, so the Resistance 1300s are pretty different compared to the Rebel ones.
They are.
They still get to roll a lot of attack dice, is like the only thing comparatively they do. They're bad at changing that arc, and the 2 fewer shields is really felt, I think.
Oh yeah, it is.
And so, just looking at like the Rebel one, the Rebel one's more expensive now, but they were about the same price points before.
Yep.
So this feels better.
This feels a lot better.
Still could be an issue though with these guys have 2 crew slots and we got a lot of crew coming in.
Yeah,
I think
Ray
this is going to be the pillar of the Resistance right now. Is that YT-1300?
It could become it. We'll see. I'm still a little skeptical. Like,
I mean,
Resistance...
T-70s are still good.
Are they though? I think it's pretty much Poe is still good.
No, I mean like 7 hit points. That's a lot.
It is.
I mean, just like on efficiency, like T-70s are good. And
I'm just now looking.
It's interesting now that like a loaded out T-70, now these YT-1300 have comparable price points.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you'll put a lot of upgrades on them most of the time, but
because you need to.
Yeah. But you have the option to take a budget one, and I think that's...
You could. I think if you take a budget one, it'll be Chewie.
I don't know. Just a plain rate 73 doesn't seem that bad. I mean, you can make it a lot better with like 20 points, but that's 20 points.
Okay. So T-70s.
Got a little drop.
Hang on, are we putting Leia on a 1300?
Yeah.
All right.
I mean, Rey with 3 Force or Han with Leia on it is much better.
Yeah. I mean, you can still put like Finn on Rey too. Like you have that gunner slot.
arguably you would. Like
Yeah.
Finn with Leia on Rey, and then the title is actually interesting.
Yeah, I mean, I think you have a lot of force, but Rey burns through that force. So I think with some hit and run tactics, that's kind of cool, where you just have a crazy powerful turn and then you're gone for a few and come back.
And that's Kevin's playstyle. Corrin in a big ship.
Yeah, I'm definitely going to experiment with Rey and Poe, especially being able to like 3 hard BB-8 sounds delicious.
Right.
Can you please use the name Poeing Rain? I tried to make it happen and it just didn't.
I think that's a little not quite there, Walker. I think you shot that one.
We'll keep working. We'll keep working. You guys make the list. I'll work on the name. We'll get there.
I actually think Han with Poe might actually be better though. I think Han could be interesting with Lone Wolf and Leia crew with some upgrades. Yeah.
I just feel like Han and Rey are so good, particularly for that Rey's ability on the crew or pilot. Like, I think Han really appreciates that.
He does, and that's part of why I think you have. So the Han that I'm talking about, sorry, would be Leia and Rey on him, with Lone Wolf and Engine. Rey's a gunner.
Oh, cool.
So suddenly Han has 2 Force, he has Lone Wolf, he has Engine, and then you put Poe next to him.
I don't fly enough large bases to know all.
All right, so let's move to the T-70s.
I mean, so this is actually, I feel like this seemed really smart. All the T-70s that C played didn't change. All the other ones went down, right?
And just a point.
So
I didn't see Snap much, but
Jess sees quite a bit of play.
Okay, Jess is the only exception there, right?
Yeah, and then the reds and the blue, like, and the black, like, that's all fine. I know Andy will be happy because Andy just acquired 4 more points into his list.
Right.
But 4 T-70s is probably going to start to become a big thing now.
Right. Yeah, I mean, compare that to the 4 Rebel ships. I think that's fine.
Yeah, I mean, they're more or less playing the game that the other ones weren't.
Right. When they take a K-turn or talent roll, it'll be a tough decision, and that'll be cool.
Yeah, we'll see what they do with 4 points. They'll probably have some droids.
Walker, you haven't seen Snap be used?
Not really. Not at least around here. I haven't seen them, but
I mean, you're definitely seeing them really more in like the efficiency builds where you
right.
force shift resistance. But like, 1 point for composure, and you get a double modded X-wing. It's not that hard to fail boosts when you need to.
Yeah, well, I mean, you see a lot of like Poe with Elo, Poe with Neon, and then you throw in Lulo or something. You know what I mean? Like you see the A-wings
right
fitting in there.
I mean, and I think with A-wings going up, you're gonna look at these cheaper T-70s more.
Yep.
Yes, you will.
Like, and they're all fine ships.
And what did Lulo go to again?
43 base. He's only 2 less than the blue.
Yeah, that's.
That's why it's so hard to swallow that.
Phrase you haven't heard Kevin say before. So I'm noticing none of the upgrades went up.
None of the upgrades went up, which I think
they
probably...
were at a pretty good point.
Mm-hmm.
They were. The only one I think that needed to go down, and I still feel it needs to go down, is paint. I think 6 is still too expensive.
Yeah, I kind of forgot about that card.
And that's why it needs to go down.
Paint should be like 4.
Yeah, I'm just annoyed that like all the talents that I like keep going up in points, and so it's like, do I have to just take heroic?
Yeah, that's the other thing we'll talk about later at the generic upgrades, because that's a chat worth having.
So do we want to move to Scum?
Do you have any surprises on the cost of the new crew? I think I'm pretty fine with all of it.
I mean, so Leia's pretty expensive, but after
her
seeing
ability
the prices
is so good
for the chassis of those ships, I'm like, I could still fit her on that. Like, I think some of the other crew seemed maybe a little expensive. I was hoping for some like really cheap crew to just.
So was I.
Put on that little dinky pod and have that be really cheap. I like
About
7,
cost-
but that's kind of expensive. I don't know.
Yeah.
But it does a
Well-
lot.
Yeah, we'll find out how good they actually are.
Right.
And that's, I mean, at this point with Jedi, everyone was saying they cost way too much. No one will ever play them. And then we've seen Anakin go up.
Right.
So-
I'm a little surprised Black 1 hasn't gone up. I mean, like, I think that's the card that's why you play the Resistance. It's a
I
cool
guess
card.
I'm not, because it's a one-time use.
Right. I mean, so, but BB-8 is like, what, 8 points for 2 uses.
I'm okay if they want to drop the cost of BB-8.
But,
I'm totally fine with that.
like, the one Black 1 is way better than any BB-8 use.
I don't know about that one.
Really? Okay, would you rather
with
have
Poe?
Black 1 or BB-8?
With Poe, I'd rather have BB-8, to be honest. Like, Black One's good, but, oh, man, BB-8.
Like, as an opponent playing against that, though, like, I'm going to respect the Black 1 a lot more than the BB-8.
As you should, because I could totally get out. Whereas BB-8, I have a smaller tree of decisions, but
Right.
yeah.
Running ion control makes me really hate BB-8.
That's another reason that I really like BB-8.
You're like, I got him, and then
No, you don't. Yo,
Like, I think that's probably one of the coolest uses of BB-8. But, like, Black 1's crazy powerful. But
it is super
like,
powerful.
unique. Like, it's not like I could have seen that go up. Like, not that I would have liked it, but like I wouldn't have been surprised.
Sure.
Okay,
All
we
right.
can move on to Scum.
Let's go Scum. So 3 of
Such
the
a big
aggressors
list.
going down by 1.
Cool. I mean,
I guess. I don't.
like
I don't
you
know
can
that much
fit
about these.
like you can fit AC and D with title. B's pretty worthless right now.
Which one is B again?
The gunner cannon one. Cannons like are just bad.
That's funny because he used to be the only one you would
Right.
start
I
with.
mean, you're just not really getting bullseye with aggressors. Like they don't have the tools to set that up.
Yep.
And there's not like a Mangler cannon type thing out right now.
Nope.
If you wanted to do control bots, like then he's maybe interesting, but I don't think that's interesting.
Which is probably good for the game.
Right. Yeah, so we'll see if 3 aggressors does anything. Hasn't so far. Maybe even they're kind of like the defenders, like they go down 1 point each time. Maybe we'll see this time.
Yep.
I think Drea going up is good.
yep.
Yes, very much so.
I mean, she was the only playable Scum, like competitive Scum list. There's some few counter meta things, but like this is the only just flat out good Scum list. So I mean, that getting hurt is like, okay, well, where's the faction at now? But like, I don't think this was a particularly cool list. Like, it was just
No.
here's all my hit points and dice. Like,
Mm-hmm.
So YTs, no change.
yeah, it's fine. I don't know. I think maybe
I think they got hurt by trick shots. So I think they just left him alone.
they've yeah, like I don't know, they don't really do too much. Like 2 attack dice, oof. And there's not just like not enough good stress triggers.
Scapecraft, no changes because
Yeah.
TAC officer got wrecked.
Yeah,
I'm totally fine with that.
yeah. I mean, you haven't really seen these since last point change. I don't know. Like they maybe could have gone down a point. But like now you compare them to the resistance pod and like yeah, they're pretty comparable. They're a little better and like a few more points.
Fangs not touched.
Here's
I-
your boy.
I'm
So-
fine with that.
Well, you suck. Like these are like the coolest Scum ship ever.
They are, and they're costed correctly.
No, they're not. Like the one guy in Europe winning doesn't mean that they're costed correctly. It just means that guy's really good.
I don't believe you.
Really? Have you tried flying?
Fen, yes, I've played him. Fen is still really good. Old T is still really good.
Tarok might be the only one cost about right. Like that skull at 50 is crazy. And like, so, the higher initiative ones like are less jousters, and like you get that arc dodgy ability. And so like the higher cost there is okay, but like the lower ones, like their efficiency is not comparable to other ships at that price point. Like there's cheaper ships that are much better jousters than these guys.
That's probably true. I guess
Um,
I've played the
I-
Zealous a couple times, and I was like, yeah, this feels about
you
right.
just give these fangs an afterburn, and like that would do it.
That would be a mistake.
Why? Are you one of these people as why they don't have afterburners?
No, I'm not one of those people, but I do understand why they don't.
Dude, they're not really like fangs are not ruining anybody's day. Everyone just wants to put them on the table, but like you go to list building, you're like, eh.
I mean, I don't want them to be ruining my day.
Like they don't have mind link. Like they just get one focus and that's it.
I won't lie, Mind Link hurt them a lot. Like not having Mind Link, that power spike drop off was
Not having
significant.
focus target lock like hurt them a lot.
I mean, usually I have Predator when I played them. Like I have Predator almost every time I shoot. So I guess I haven't noticed it.
I mean, so like I'm not asking for a substantial points drop. I think you should be able to fit like a skull with like Fearless or Predator at 50. Like I think that seems about right. Because like then I think they're pretty good. Like I think Fens like for an i6 is at a good price point. It's just when you compare them to other i6s, then that feels bad.
Sure. But I think that's more an issue of those i6s being undercosted
Absolutely.
than Fen
Like,
being overcosted.
But it's like if they're not going to go up to that point, well, let's bring Fen down then.
Yep. I think that's the thing, is figuring out where the bar is and moving
Right.
stuff
I mean,
around.
so right now, Scum doesn't have the initiative to compete with other factions in that game.
Well, and if you remember when Scum was originally announced, they were not supposed to have i6s. They were not supposed to be an ace faction. So I'm fine with that.
Sure.
Like, the devs were even on record saying that Scum was not supposed to be a faction of aces. They weren't supposed to have high initiative. So when they started giving them high initiative aces, I kind of was like, whatever, this is dumb. So I'm fine that they have less high initiatives. Because they break all the rules in the game.
Mm-hmm. So they're scum.
I mean,
Not really.
you
There's
think
plenty of
you think Dash is dumb? I mean, let's talk about Paylob.
I think Paylab interacts in the game with a much more interesting way than Dash does. But,
Mining guild ties, just little dashes.
I mean, like Scum has comparable effects to Dash, and I don't think those are good. Cura or stuff like that, like that's not good. I don't know.
Fire sprays. I'm
these are
okay with all of them except for Boba Fett and Amon.
Just trying to creep back into relevancy.
What did you want those down more?
No, I want to not see them change. Like, I don't want to see Boba Fett in the game. I don't want to see someone who has unlimited mods back in the game. I just don't.
Dude, don't get close to him, man. Fly better.
Yeah, because medium-based ships with boost. Yeah, uh-huh. And Amon, I don't think Amon's good for the game. So that's just my opinion on that one.
Yeah, I mean, like I've had like more of an issue flying against Amon than Boba Fett. Prox mines are real big. You can cover a lot of areas.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, like the Fangs, I think the fire sprays they're cool ships. And I
Yeah, they're
think
very
that
cool
they're
ships.
pretty like when you look at the battle class type ships, like they're pretty good, like balance point.
And I
They're
think
not
part
they're
of
not
this,
super combo wing in general.
well, they were like, so Boba
Right, but
Fett
those
with
got
Hero,
reined in. I mean,
yeah,
like the upgrades, like that they're abusing, got put to unplayable, and that's I guess okay.
right, and that's part of why I think I'm like okay with all the other ones going down. It seems
Like
fine.
the chassis not the issue. I don't think. A lot of people like fire sprays.
Sure, I mean they're good ships and they're on the best base in the game now.
Medium bases, they just fit.
That
They
is
do
so
seem
good.
to fit everywhere.
Yeah, the
Um,
one heart on a medium base is insane.
Yeah. I don't know.
Okay, so
I'm
G
happy with the fire
ones.
spray changes.
I mean, I'm fine with all of them, like I said, except for those two.
Yeah, G1 seem fine. You know, Forlom's a good control piece, but he's not busted at 49.
I'm okay with the
controllable.
G ones kind of staying where they are. There was an upgrade that's coming out that I think would make Forlom really annoying. We were talking about the other day, but I can't remember what it was.
Not sure.
I don't remember which one it was.
Hawks, you know, everybody but Apollo goes down.
Only 1 point, which is kind of surprising. Like I've never seen Dace on the board ever.
Yeah, but I mean, he's pretty cheap already. Like
He is pretty cheap
34,
now.
Like, pretty good safety valve. Like, I could have seen him go down. You know, if you're worried about high initiative, like that is a pretty good control piece to rein that in and really humble some ace players sometimes.
Sure. Yep.
I mean, there doesn't seem to be too many focus or evade shenanigans right now, so like Polyb not being playable seemed like not an issue. I think most of the like things you want are gonna have force, so I don't think he's gonna be a role player there.
Okay.
I mean, like he can hit niche things like Soontir, but like those lists are also gonna have Vader who won't care, right?
Right. As the force starts to creep into the game, his ability becomes weaker.
Right. And the Separatists calculate stuff's getting stronger. So like, there's only gonna be some matchups where he'll do.
So Jump Masters. All of them got gunner slots, and all of them except Manaru got a 2-point cost reduction.
I don't know really what this chassis does, so like
I don't know either. And I'm not. I'd have to sit and look at the gunner slots to see what options that really.
I mean,
they
Hot
just
Shot-
try to do like board control by here's my large base, like get around it. Is like all they really bring to the table still.
I'm wondering if Agile Gunner was added like as a thing for them to try to rotate, maybe. But that doesn't help Dengar, which is fine.
Yeah, it doesn't really do much.
Yeah, I'm not sure what to think, and I'm
Yeah,
totally
I think
okay if
it's
the Jump
punishing a
Master
lot.
never sees the table again. To be honest with you.
Yeah.
I want it back.
Punish you one at 8. Like, yeah, it's okay.
Okay. Oh wow! I just now I'm seeing the modifications to the Kirax.
Or lack thereof.
Kirax.
Well-
I mean, so the like original ability of like, oh, you can mod this ship. Well, that only worked when you made the mods cheaper. Like nobody wanted to pay full price for 3 mods.
And adding another illicit, like, were people already using one illicit and saying, "Boy, I wish I had another one"?
No, but if you like come out with new cool illicits, maybe that does. I mean, illicits right now are just like generally bad.
I
They
agree.
made cybernetics cheaper, but like that is part of Scum's issue is like there's no good elicits.
Are we gonna
I
see
think I like the
Kiraxes?
general decrease of Kiraxes.
Yeah, because we don't see them like ever.
Right. Like 38 for the Marauders. Like, oh, okay. Like, we're cheaper than X-Wings. I mean, we should.
Could run 5 of them.
You already could. Like, they were already at free.
Right.
Now I think you could run 5 with cybernetics.
Maybe.
Yeah, I mean they're not a bad filler. If we have some tractor beam support, like they could do some stuff.
Which, yeah. Especially with the changes to the Lancer pursuit craft, or kind of transition.
Lancer seems to be a big winner for the Scum this point to change.
Yeah, a drop in 2 by everyone except for Ketsu, and then the title also got cheaper.
Carson's
Right.
bringing it back. Ketsu
Maybe.
Asajj.
I mean, so the like under the radar Scum list for extended was like the Ketsu and 2 aces.
Old
Or
T and
sort of
Fen.
aces, yeah. Well, I think there was a Cavill in one of those. I mean, so just hit hard after Ketsu tractor somebody was the general plan. And I think this will. I think that Lancer is now at that price point where it looks appealing. Maul did go up a little bit, and Hate went up. So
Yeah,
you
Hate's
can't
gonna
do,
play
like,
a big
the
difference.
super tanky Asajj you can't do. But I think that's fine.
Yeah, we don't need another version of that.
Right. I mean, you could just put your points in the other ships and have it do its tractor thing, and that'll
Yes.
be okay.
Yep.
Camogulas.
I don't see them on the table, so okay.
I mean, they went down. Munitions went up. This seems like a wash.
sure.
Yeah.
So I actually think M3A should go down a little bit, like just a point or so.
I probably wouldn't be against that.
No, that'd be fine.
Particularly because, so Scum seems okay and extended, and I think these are probably going to be added to hyperspace when they, and like that's where Scum needs help.
I think so, yeah.
And like M3As, they're a cool ship, not really doing anything.
Yep.
They got hit by the Scum gets bad initiative thing, like Genesis
They
Red
did.
going to an I4, like that sucked. But like seriously,
I still just don't know what role they fill, right? The M3.
Nobody does. I mean, like it's supposed to be like a glass cannon thing with that hard point, but like 4 hit points, like how much points of weapons do you want to put on that? And it's got low
Yeah.
initiative, so
Yeah, the answer we found is not a lot.
right. TIE
So the
Fighter-
Mining Guild tie, I think the only comment I have on this, the rest of it's all fine, except I want to see Seavor go up.
You just hate Seavor, though.
That ship is such a piece of crap.
Yeah, I mean
hate-
30's pretty expensive.
Jam at all ranges is stupid.
Still 10 points
Yeah.
cheaper than Iden.
I mean, so Swarm Tactics did go up, so that does impact C4 because I think the abuse
What?
of things when people were
Oh,
swarm
people were
tacking
swarming
C4.
him up. I always saw him with
Yeah.
Juke.
Oh,
That also
Which-
went up.
I think the Swarm Tactics C4 was pretty good. But
His ability's just obnoxious.
right. So like in my head, he kind of went up with Swarm Tactics, but I don't know.
Okay.
I mean, you got to give Scum some control effect.
I'm okay with some, but there was a lot before. That's my kind of like worry.
I mean, they got the caster, which I think helps.
Yep.
That's much
And-
better than the tugboats like being spammed. Like it's one
Yes.
big lumbersome one that you know where it's gonna be.
Yep, and it can't use afterburners like the tugs can and stuff like that.
Yeah, the afterburner tugs are pretty crazy.
Yeah, they are.
Lock Revenant. Tugs, no change. That seems fine.
I'm fine with it.
Dreadlocks, both Drea and the locks got hit.
And then
Yes.
Guri, because why not? Give her a... Seems
I'm
fair.
okay with that. I mean, I'd rather just see advanced sensors get priced by initiative, but fine.
Yeah, I mean, Guri is just easy mode a lot of the time.
I mean, I don't know. Usually when I play Guri, just fair, so I don't really care on that one. Like, Guri's issue is people are playing I6. Like,
Guri's issue is if you're playing the highest initiative last moving ship, you don't
know,
even
it's-
have to play the game.
well, okay, so if you have like Boba Guri, like with Blade 1 and then Advanced Sensors, like, if you are moving last, like, how do you lose that game?
You can't, which is so dumb.
Yeah. But there's so many I6s right now. It's terrible.
Yep.
Terrible.
The YV666 hasn't really seen play, so I think I'm okay with it. I'm just a little worried about morale because his ability's silly.
Yeah, but you can do that with It's the Resistance now anyway, so
But he doesn't come back on the board with the weapons disarmed.
the disarm is pretty real on that.
So there is a downside. It is cool being like, here's my flanker. But yeah. I think I'm okay with probably the YV666 getting a drop.
It's still one of those
especially
ships, though, that it's an all alpha strike, because if you get it to endgame, I mean, I don't care what it is, I think a tugboat can outmaneuver it and stay behind it.
Right, and it just like doesn't have the weapons it did in first edition, so like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
But that's a good thing, right? Because the party
Absolutely.
bus was silly.
Right.
And the
But
Alpha Bosk was even dumber.
Yes. And now there's some extra tools like Plasma Torps is what a YV66 does not want to see.
But they have less shields now, so
Right. Those shields are just gone like in one turn.
yeah, but I don't
But yes.
I mean, I'd like to see it. I like the ship. I like the look of it on the board, but...
It's a cool looking ship. I like the model, yeah.
Yep.
know.
I feel like Scum Z's feel like Rebel Z's.
Yep, they are Z90F, Z95 AF.
Yeah.
Okay. So we'll go to upgrades then?
I mean, I think Nidru like is pretty comparable to Blount,
Yeah, he is.
so like I guess that price point seems pretty good.
I can't believe Wrecked cost 1 point.
Yeah, no,
I
you
was-
had to pay to shoot at your own ships. At least now
That's-
it's now you don't just pay the damage.
That's so dumb. So yeah, that should have always been free.
IG 88D going down one's interesting.
I was shocked to see that.
Yeah, I mean, it seems like they're trying to push the aggressive place. So some slight decreases there. Like
We already
2
talked about
aggressives and
Maul.
something. Maul goes up 1.
Shadowcaster going down by 3. Is that enough to make it usable?
I
I
mean,
don't
so
know.
it was on the fringe before, so I think
So it's got to definitely be in then now.
yes. The question is, will that tractor be meaningful? And that's really the question: is where they'll fit in the meta. Like, if that's a meaningful control piece, before they were hitting those Initiative 4 Phantoms and wiping them before they shot. So that was meaningful control.
Sure was.
I'm not sure that'll have the same impact in this metagame.
Okay. Walker.
That's really, what will
Walker, your favorite?
The Separatists?
Yeah, aren't they your favorite faction?
I mean, they are in lore, I suppose. I mean, I've been trying to play them and they're not.
Okay.
I'm not there yet with them, but we can.
So the Bulbasaur's going down. Is this enough for you to be like, okay?
It makes me want to fly Grievous in the belly rub.
I mean, this
So-
seems like a pretty good change for the Double A.
Yeah. I still feel like Watt is still the answer, though.
Right, and he didn't go down that much.
No.
But he still went down with the Soulless one.
Right, and the
Yes.
title. So
Right. I mean, so Grievous with the title going down 7. That seems cool. I mean, he's I4. Who's he really hurting, right?
Sure.
yeah, no, I think a lot of his value I saw was when people were running Dooku, Maul, and Grievous, and people were too busy worrying about those two to worry about Grievous, and that's where he would come in and do a little damage.
Right. I mean, yeah. So the infiltrators are getting hit a bit, and so I think you need to bring the Bell Labs in aggressively.
Hmm.
Yeah, I mean the general statements from the devs on the stream was focus on the swarm. That's what they're trying to push.
Well, and I think the biggest thing you're going to see is our next ship. We're looking at the Hyena class, especially with
cheaper than I thought they'd be.
yeah, and especially you can put some stuff on them. You can get that DRK-1 probe droid out there to get your target locks.
Yeah, I'm surprised these are as cheap as they are.
Right. I mean, that's less than
I don't
40
remember what
points for a proton torpedo carrier, right? With the Techno Union.
Yeah, and that's why I do think that bombardment droid, getting the DRK-1 out there early, so you can get your target locks beyond range 3. So when you do hit them, you just calculate them.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Yeah, I mean, using those probe droids, yeah, like getting that double modded Alpha Strike is pretty good. Probe droids are good at that, getting that early target lock. And then after that, I don't know what they do, but
So this is interesting. I didn't realize.
Yeah.
They're pointing out that these are not hyperspace legal.
oh really? Oh, cool.
That's what I said. I was like, what?
Hmm.
I don't know if that's a mistake or not.
Because yeah, usually new ships don't. They usually come in at hyperspace.
That's the assumption.
Maybe we're beyond hyperspace and we could just do everything extended from now on because the game is finally balanced.
Mm-hmm. Infiltrators.
They got hit with the Nerf bat pretty hard.
I'm not sad.
Yeah, I mean, I'm a little sad. I thought it was a pretty cool control list that I don't think was like super oppressive.
From listening to people talk, because I haven't played against it.
Looking
it
at the
felt really
official point stock, the hyenas are hyperspace legal. That must have just been a typo in the spreadsheet.
Okay. Yeah, Maul and Dooku going up by 2 because of 3/4. I'm totally fine with that. I think hate is the bigger issue.
Right.
Right.
So, yeah, the hate is the nerf on hate scaling. I think it was a cool choice to make it scale by ship size. Because, I mean, like, it matters based off how many hit points you have, and
It does.
ship size generally correlates with that.
Yep.
I don't really think the Sith infiltrators were hurting anybody, but they sure got hurt.
I feel like the infiltrators got hit harder than Phantoms in a way, but
I mean, they had points to spare, so I think you can still play them.
right. But hate was definitely a staple.
But
I think the other thing too is they didn't
I
want
mean,
to ever be able to use him. It was definitely hate that was feeling it.
Mm-hmm.
right. I mean, yeah, like they have pretty low initiative, so like they're not. I don't really think they were being a negative meta impact or anything.
Right. Well, and I think they
And-
also want to make
And
a little...
moving those droids around is real fun.
I think they want to make a bigger difference though between the Force infiltrators and the non-Force infiltrators.
They
Yeah.
sure do.
Yeah. Right. I mean, so if you're just trying to take your attack relay and maybe some probe droids, like then the Dark Courier or 066 are pretty good option.
All right. Vultures, all of them went down by different values.
And this was the
But-
part of the stream I caught where they said basically they were pushing the value from the vultures onto the shell charges.
Yeah, I was about to say, yeah.
It's like
yep.
generally, I feel okay about this, with the exception of Discord missiles.
Right.
I mean, so Discord missiles are a control effect I don't like. I mean, well, it's just basically direct damage. which I don't like.
I'm surprised that they made grappling struts effectively free, because they
I think
talked
that
about
was
when they
okay.
first launched it that they weren't going to
They're
do that.
just not being played.
I mean,
Sure.
asteroids aren't being played right now, so
Right.
I think
You can't latch onto a gas cloud.
yeah,
True.
like I think that's gonna be fine. I mean, this both I think incentivizes and de-incentivizes asteroids at the same time. If you're not playing separatists, then maybe there's a bit more of a liability to bringing asteroids. I'll still bring 3 big rocks regardless. Wow, I mean 19. We didn't think they were gonna go below 20, but 19, they sure did.
Yeah, but once you're already at 20, you're committing to letting, you can't put 10 in a list anyway.
Right. I mean, I think like just taking some of these to just throw some calculates over to your hyenas seems
Sure.
pretty good. Yeah.
That's probably what they'll be used for. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, and if you're taking the energy shells, like they only really want one, so like, that's not big of an issue. But scored missiles there. Won't that be fun?
Yep. Let's see. Dooku went up by a point. I hadn't seen him used yet, but
I didn't either. Like he's got a cool ability, but his infiltrator's really good, so
So you're not going to run them
Yeah.
because you're running the infiltrator.
yeah, exactly. Probe droids going to 5.
Should Palpatine have gone up?
No, because then I think the Republic really can't use him. Because the Republic is already... It's only got one ship that can even carry him.
Yeah, but like you could have just made the arc go. Well, that's probably a
Yeah,
bad
you
idea.
can't make the arc go cheaper. Which they did, a lot of the arcs, but...
Right.
Discord missiles, yeah. We'll talk, yeah. And then energy shell charges, like you mentioned, Walker, was then moving cost into the card. That makes sense.
Yep. And Solus
Pervium
1 we
plating.
talked about.
Yeah, so that all seems fine. All right. Anything else before we go to generic upgrades?
I don't really have anything. I think.
Okay.
I mean, I think you're just gonna be all in on that swarm with separatists right now.
Yep.
It looks like
Seems to
it.
be their only identity.
Until their little bug zapper I6 comes out with tractor beam.
I mean, with 7 factions, like I think it's fine to have a pure swarm faction.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep, and it flies differently. I mean, you got that one Talon roll. Or not Talon roll, but
Yeah,
sloop.
I mean, and like calculates are really cool. And so I kind of like what they've done with the calculates with these guys.
Okay. Astromech, so the R2 went, it's now scaled by agility, right?
Yeah. And it's your
Seems
printed
fine.
agility, so if you take a delta B, you don't get around it.
Right. It seems fine.
Yeah. I mean, I think it still could go up a little bit more. It's just like not a play pattern. I think that should be incentivized.
They have clearly made the decision, though, that it will be.
Right.
Auto blasters cost 2 points. I was a little surprised, but I mean, that seems okay.
It's not that good. Yeah, I don't know.
No, it's not that great.
I mean, you can't have it more than heavy laser.
It seems fine. Season Navigator is now costed by initiative, I believe. That's the correct decision.
Yeah. Attack officer goes up.
Good.
Got the
Cool.
Leia
I was
treatment.
happy with that.
I am fine with that.
We already talked about hate. Should
And
Brilliant Evasion have gone down? Because that could have been a point.
The answer is yes. Brilliant Evasion is just still expensive. Instinctive Aim
Predictive
went
shot
down.
at 1 that's interesting.
I've never used it, so I don't know.
I mean, especially when you're like talking about like 2 attack dice Jedi, predictive shot gets a little better there.
Okay. Sense goes down to 5. I'm a little surprised to see that because Sense is a good card.
Yeah, it's a mechanic I don't like, so
Yes.
don't want that.
In case you've never tried it, Sense on Luke, when there's I6s on the board,
Sure.
is
when you have
literally
when you
free.
have
I get to see your
fours,
dial.
Yeah,
Yep.
seems fine. Super awesome. We all like Veteran Turret Gunner going up. That was,
Yes.
they tried it out. No.
I mean, double shots are base. I mean, I don't like being able to shoot twice for any ship, especially if you can
Yeah.
spam it on a generic. Like, it's one thing if it's
Spam
Dengar
stuff,
or
they're
it's
okay.
quick draw, but yeah.
Okay, so we talked about elicits a little bit, but okay, so cybernetics going down to 3. It's still pricey, I think. It's good, but I just don't know who's abusing that. The one I wanted to see go down like just a point or so was cloaking device, because like it's real bad.
Is
Like,
it?
the
Isn't it the
Newscom
same?
cloak- It's like jankier.
Okay.
It's like, I guess, more average. Like you can't just take that one cloak and stay cloaked. Like
You can't break it and hide.
yeah.
Okay. I think we all agree that damps needed to be priced by initiative.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, like the shield cost was pretty real on most ships.
I mean, at least you can't put it on Han anymore, because that was the worst part was it
Yeah.
cost you that shield, but you could
Right.
regen. And roll
So I
it.
kind of feel like that the dampeners got hit twice there. I mean, like the ship that
Yeah.
wanted it can't take it, and then it went up. But
Right.
Yeah, I wonder if that
I think
card
on
even
other
sees
ships,
play.
like it's kind of a cool, like, ooh, I'm gonna take a damage to stay here, and like I have a finite number of shields. Like I mean, if you look at the other, still take it. Like they have 3 shields each, I think. So, like that's not, you shoot them once and they can't stop anymore.
Barrage rockets probably cost what it should have costed.
Yeah, I
Right?
mean, I don't know. I mean, I don't like munitions that good. Like, I'm pretty anti munitions, but like, I think 7 was pretty good already. It's just like, there's just some ships that abuse it.
Well, and I think this was also another stab at the triple or the quad K-wing, right?
Right. That's what it was. Like for TIE Bomber, 7 was fine.
Yeah. Let's
mods.
see.
Mods are at a pretty good point right now.
Yeah, deflectors came in at 9633 based on agility. That seems probably right.
Because the higher agility
Seems-
ships don't want it.
Yep.
Yeah. No, I mean, like, it doesn't seem like a playable upgrade, which I think seems good.
Yes.
Delayed fuses, 1 point, and whatever.
Yeah, I don't think delayed fuses are going to do much, and I'm fine with that.
And I do really like where like Hold are at right now. Like you actually use them, but they're like super fair too. Like
Mm-hmm.
And engine seems to be at a pretty good point as well.
Yep. Debris Gambit went up by 1. Kind of surprised. I haven't seen it like at all.
Yeah, I don't know who was abusing that one. Could Daredevil go down? I don't know.
And then Juke go up by 2. I guess I get it. I feel like you're punishing
Totally
the
get
card,
it. Yeah.
Right, for
not
the Phantoms.
chassis.
But I don't
Yeah,
think
well,
they
it's not
wanted
even
to.
the Phantoms. Defenders too are prime examples of guys that are gonna abuse Juke.
Right. And they made that comment on the stream about Defenders where they said, or about Phantoms where they said, well, we didn't want, we still wanted to see those types of lists, like 4 Phantoms for some reason, but just not with Juke. Like, they didn't like the efficiency, but they still wanted to see 4. I was like, no.
Yeah, they're the only ones that want to see 4.
Right. Well, at least now we know that's a thing.
I mean, I get Trickshot being 4 points on large base turrets. It sucks for all the small base ships that liked it. Swarm tactics seems like a good change.
Yep.
And Swarm Tactics is like a change where like you'll still play Swarm Tactics.
Yep, you will. But I don't know
I
that
think it
you'll
hurts
play
the
Trick
like
Shot anymore.
Rebel like I6 I7 Alpha Strike. That's I think where it gets hit.
Which you should hit it there, right?
Does it hurt null?
Yeah, that's the one that abuses it the most.
Because they
But,
took it
like,
away
the-
from null, didn't they? Already.
They took the
Yeah.
talent slot away from null.
Right.
The Daisy chain, like you're not paying that much more. Like you have to pay for the first one, and then the other ones are the same. So that seems okay.
Do you think Trick Shot is too expensive now? I do.
Oh, absolutely.
I agree.
I
Especially
wish
with
we
gas
had more talents. Is like where I'm at. Like I don't feel like
And
I
that-
have enough options with the talents anymore.
That is the bigger thing that I was going to talk about earlier that I said we'd save for. So that's my biggest issue right now. The amount of talents that are worth your time and actual consideration is a very small, and that's not.
So
a good thing.
it's Crack Shot, Elusive,
Predator,
and Lone
Lone
Wolf.
Wolf.
Right?
I don't even consider elusive.
Well, Elusive is like sometimes it's good and like it's ship dependent, but
Right.
I mean,
but almost all your
anybody
other
with
ones.
like advanced sensors type ability, Elusive's really good on.
Sure.
I
But
mean,
that
any
feels like
Force
that's it.
user would love Elusive. They just can't take it.
Right. Like Mace would kill.
I
for
mean,
it.
like Elusive's good enough to the point where I'm like, man, if Pattern Analyzer was a little cheaper, I put both those on Poe. That price point's not quite
Just
worth. The
Kevin's
point.
face. Kevin's face just tells me why he took a picture of that car with the window busted out and called it Carson's Poe in Chicago.
I mean, wouldn't you like your Poe to be able to reroll a defense die?
I mean, he can reroll all the defense die if you blank out
Yeah.
and you give it heroic.
yeah.
Yes.
Although I've been messing with Crack Shot, so we'll see.
A Crackshot's probably where I'll go with Poe. That or Lone Wolf, I guess, is probably. But that's awkward if you're going the coordinate route. It's tough.
Yep. Torps went up to 13. I'm totally fine with that.
Yeah. I think
Plasmas are 9.
because I was like, ooh, are plasmas and protons gonna be really close in price point? So I kind of like the separation there.
I like the separation.
that
I
direction.
thought they'd come in at 8, but I didn't know they were upping it to 13. So the fact that they upped it to 13, 9 makes sense.
Well, and the fact that I was like comparing them to barrage rockets, and I think like so 1 point more than barrage rockets feels right, and so if barrage rockets went up, then 9 seems good.
Yep, that makes sense.
Yeah,
And
I
then-
mean, I don't know who the best plasma carrier is.
I mean, I think there could be a lot as long as you have double mods. I mean, anyone can be.
I mean, it's only 3 dice, so you don't need the double mod as much.
No, and it's again, it's meant for a specific archetype. It's not meant for
Like, and it's not as
in all
like
use.
when you whiff on a proton, like that's a lot of points that you whiffed on.
Yeah.
And so plasma's a little lower. Like I think gamble just like a target locked plasma.
Sure.
Love the
Turret.
upgrades to the turrets.
Yeah, I'm fine
I
with
mean,
those.
so
going
they
back
went
up.
down 2 last time. Go back up. Okay.
Yeah, seems fine.
Like I think I'd rather veteran turret go up 2 than the turrets themselves 2. Like if one of those had to go up 2.
Sure.
I think that's everything.
I think that's it. Yeah.
Walker, what faction are you most excited about?
Probably back. I'll probably trying for T70s actually at this point, because I've been flying T65s. So in the list I was flying at T65s and Y wings with a 3-point bid, and now it's a 1-point bid. So I don't have to change from my Rebels I was flying anyway. But no, I wouldn't mind taking a couple Naboo, the Bravo, whatever's, throwing plasma torps on them and putting battle meditation on somebody.
Mm-hmm.
So I can double modify them
you got a
both.
lot cheaper.
Yep. Plo or Obi-Wan.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now I actually got a list build. and I actually care.
Still not
Let's see
hyped
what
about
happens.
Separatists.
I mean, yeah, I'm gonna see if I can fill my Lulo void with calibrated Jedi.
Yeah, at least calibrated makes you earn it. That's the one thing I like about it.
Right. I mean, I just, the 7Bs just kind of bore me. Like, I don't want X-wing Jedi. I want A-wing Jedi.
The one thing that 7B did give though was and this is the part that I noticed. It wasn't necessarily the offensive difference. It was the variance resistance. So without
Totally.
the extra shields.
That's the part that bores me.
Yeah, well, variance is a real thing in second edition.
Totally is. Totally is. I get it, man.
So,
Um,
all right. Well, that's all I've got. I'm glad that you came on and helped
Yeah.
us out, Carson.
Very thankful
yeah,
for
thanks
Carson.
for having me.
And we'll get our computer stuff figured out someday, right?
Yeah, except this time it's not me.
All
It's not me.
right, well, have a good night, everybody.
Maybe we'll see you on Sunday.